Chapter 5220, Absolutely Not. Bai Ledian hurriedly said, "Before I came here, Lord Jingyuan told me not to attack the 8 realms of Brahma." Long Chen originally planned to take advantage of Brahma Pill Valley's serious damage to directly uproot Brahma Pill Valley. Even if he did not remove it, he would destroy the foundation of Brahma Pill Valley. Otherwise, Long Chen would not be able to swallow this breath. But seeing Bai Ledian in such a panic, and it was told by Lord Jingyuan, Long Chen couldn't help but be shocked. Could it be that there are many secrets he doesn't know in the 8 Brahma domains? Otherwise, Lord Jingyuan would not have told Bai Ledian like this, and from Bai Lishan's expression, when Lord Jingyuan warned him, he must have been very serious. "Alright then, I'll clean up those trash fish first," Long Chen said helplessly. "The battle has been won, what else is there to clean up?" Bai Shishi's mother was surprised. Long Chen looked at the sleeping Bai Shishir, her face was pale, and there was no trace of blood, and Long Chen's heart was as painful as being eaten by a poisonous snake. People need awe, and I have to let them know what is awe and what is fear. "Qingxian, keep this piece of jade." After Long Chen finished speaking, he handed over the Emperor Jade in his hand to Yu Qingxian. Yu Qingxian was startled, and she hurriedly said, "This jade is the most useful for you to keep. I will leave it in the academy, and I won't need it at all." Yu Qingxian has seen the terrifying power of this ancient jade, and Long Chen can just stimulate its power. With it, Long Chen has a powerful amulet. "If I don't have it, how can I rest assured to keep you in the academy?" Long Chen took Yu Qingxian's hand and put the Emperor Jade in Yu Qingxian's jade hand, not giving her a chance to refuse at all. Buzz, when Emperor Jade touched Yu Qingxian's hand, Emperor Jade and Yu Qingxian were shocked at the same time, and a soft divine light appeared on Emperor Jade, and its breath slowly merged with Yu Qingxian. At this moment, everyone present looked at Yu Qingxian in stunned eyes. Yu Qingxian's appearance did not change, and her breath did not fluctuate in any way, but her temperament became sacred and noble in an instant. Standing in front of her, it can be disconcerting and feel ashamed. Looking at her at such a close distance seemed to be a blasphemy to her. Except for Long Chen, everyone almost couldn't help but take a step back. Long Chen watched Yu Qingxian's aura change, and his heart trembled. At that moment, Long Chen saw a trace of Pill Emperor's shadow on Yu Qingxian's body. For some reason, Long Chen suddenly felt a hint of remorse in his heart. He felt that he should not hand over the Emperor Jade to Yu Qingxian. This Emperor Jade is likely to awaken Yu Qingxian's memory. But if she doesn't give her the Emperor Jade, Long Chen is afraid that the scene of Bai Shishi's heavy damage will happen again. Long Chen knows that this Emperor Jade is the relic of Emperor Dan. Buzzing. The Emperor Jade slowly trembled in Yu Qingxian's jade hand. At that moment, it seemed to be given life and had its own heartbeat. In its constant rhythm, Long Chen saw that fine lines appeared on the Emperor Jade. Long Chen found out that this Emperor Jade was not a complete jade, but was spliced by many broken jade. To make. When Long Chen saw one of the peanut-sized pieces, Long Chen was shocked. Isn't that the one that Long Chen saw in the hands of the chess master? At that moment, Long Chen instantly understood that Brahma Pill Valley had been collecting pieces of Emperor Jade, and then splicing it together to get this Emperor Jade. However, looking at its appearance, it is still just a larger fragment, not a complete Emperor Jade. A piece of Emperor Jade has such terrifying power, so how powerful will a complete Emperor Jade be? Yu Qingxian stared blankly at the Emperor Jade, her eyes twinkled with a little starlight. The breath of this Emperor Jade made her feel very kind, and when she touched it, it seemed that they merged into one and gave birth to one. A feeling of flesh and blood. "Long Chen, thank you." Yu Qingxian looked at Long Chen, she was moved and sad. At that moment, her confidence was a little shaken. She wanted to stay here to comprehend the statue, and she wanted to accompany Long Chen, because with this Emperor Jade, she had the power to protect Long Chen. For a time, she changed difficult to choose. How could Long Chen not know Yu Qingxian's heart? He gently stroked Yu Qingxian's long smooth hair with his big hand, and said softly, "You consume too much, and you also need to rest. Accompany Shishir to heal your wounds." Yu Qingxian nodded obediently. Bai Shishi's mother hesitated a little, and handed by Shirshir to Yu Qingxian, but she did not follow. As a past person, she knows that things between young people need to be left to them to deal with. As an elder, she should not interfere if she can. Just as Long Chen and others were talking, there was a sudden explosion in the distance, and the entire academy trembled, startling everyone. Long Chen followed the sound and saw a black spear laid across the base of a building. Wow, quack! Get rich, get rich! The spear was the hell spear that almost killed everyone before. At this time, the whole body of the spear was bound with countless chains. It was the dragon blood warriors who worked together to pull it out of the ground. This 10,000 li evil spear is extremely heavy. All the dragon blood warriors exerted their strength to pull it out. They were so tired that their eyes were staring, and they almost vomited blood. Why is this thing so heavy? Gu Yang was so tired that he was sweating profusely, panting. This is divine iron from hell. It doesn't belong to our immortal world. The laws of hell that it comes with make it extremely heavy. I don't know what method these guys used to launch them. Xiachen looked at the huge hell's evil spear, feeling its terrifying aura, still feels unbelievable. Who cares? This thing will be ours in the future, brothers, this coercion, this breath. If we use it to create a suit of armor and weapons, let alone fight, the breath alone can scare people to death. My God, hey, it's exciting to think about it. Guaran stroked the hell spear and felt its terrifying law fluctuations. He couldn't wait to go up and kiss it. This is a miracle that he could never dream of. The essence of such a large evil spear is enough to create a set of battle armor and magic weapons for each of the entire Dragon Blood Legion. The most important thing is that the High Heaven Treasure Pavilion has begun to be open to them, and they can control everything in it. Guaran is preparing to build a human emperor's magic weapon, and try to see if he can succeed. If you use the pure gold extracted from the Hell Spear refining, you can definitely create the best human emperor divine weapon. The most important thing is to wear a battle armor with a hellish atmosphere and hold a divine weapon with a hellish atmosphere. How cool is it? Guaran's battle armor and sword were destroyed by the Hell Spears. At first, Guaran hated these Hell Spears, but now he realized that it was a gift from God. When the Dragon Blood Legion salvaged the 4 evil spears from Hell, everyone was so tired that they could no longer move, and they all returned to the barrier to rest. Long Chen suddenly said, "Everyone on the battlefield is back. Disciples who have never been on the battlefield, go out." At this time, the disciples who were hiding in the barrier were stunned when they heard this. Chapter 52:21, But we. Those disciples were pale, and even after the battle was over, standing in the barrier, they could still feel the fierce murderous aura on the battlefield, which made their bones chill. If they went out, the remaining imperial power might kill them, soul-crushing their will. No, but if you don't go out to clean the battlefield, you can stay here. From now on, any resources of the Academy have nothing to do with you. The Academy does not support idlers, but it will not drive you away. You can choose to breed your offspring here. This is the only value you can create for the Academy. Long Chen said coldly. These disciples have not experienced bloody battles. Long Chen can understand fear, and cowardice. After all, strong people are not trained in a day. Others are desperately fighting for their lives, and it is no problem for them to survive here. After all, with their strength, they cannot go to the battlefield at all. Now that the battle is over, it is irritating to stay here confidently and watch others busy. Looking at Long Chen's gloomy face, these disciples knew that Long Chen didn't scare them. When they thought that they would no longer be able to get any resources in the future, they would become a waste of food and death. They finally chose to bite the bullet and go to the battlefield. It's useless. This group of people doesn't have the will to become stronger at all, and they won't be able to enter the battlefield if they are forced. At this time, the Dragon Blood Legion received Long Chen's order and returned to the enchantment. Yu Zifeng looked at the group of people. With a reluctant look on his face, he couldn't help saying, "I don't expect them to go to the battlefield, but this doesn't mean that they can fish every day in the Academy and waste food. At the very least, they can create the value of feeding themselves." Long Chen replied, By the way, Zifeng, how is your injury? As a sword cultivator, Yu Zifeng has terrifying attack power, but extremely weak defense. In order to rescue Yu Qingxian, he endured a blow from a half-step human sovereign powerhouse. Although that blow was not an all-out blow, ordinary dragon blood warriors could easily block, but for Yu Zifeng, that is very fatal. And after being hit hard, Yu Zifeng still gritted his teeth and insisted on fighting. Now, Yu Zifeng's face is pale, his breath is weak, his body keeps shaking, and it seems that he will fall down at any time, but he is not able to heal his injuries. I'm fine, I like this weak state. Losing my strongest support will make me feel things that I usually can't feel. Yu Zifeng said. Long Chen secretly praised that Yu Zifeng's talent is really amazing. He is always comprehending and practicing. His power is inevitable rather than accidental. Yes, I get angry when I look at this group of guys. Back then, these guys made fun of us a lot. I won't forget the appearance of 5 people and 6 people now. At this time, a group of people walked in, the first one. It is Long Ziwei of Tianhuang Long family. And beside him are the mercenaries of the Long family. In the previous battle, they have been with the disciples of the Galaxy sect, and they have made a lot of efforts on the battlefield. It was Qin Feng who brought them back, and Bai Ledian directly brought them into the academy and gave them the treatment of inner disciples. At that time, these mercenaries were immediately grateful to Bai Ledian, which is also their life, apart from Long Chen, once again felt too warm. Although later, they were targeted by the disciples of the branch, and they were often scolded as garbage that was picked up, but they have long been used to this kind of abuse. Now that Long Chen has returned, the powerful and bloody means have frightened them all, and Long Chen has been very busy these days, without a moment of leisure, and everyone has no chance to say hello to Long Chen. Long Chen saw the familiar faces of Long Ziwei, Yuang, Wu Song, etc., and suddenly felt inexplicably kind, and hurried to them. At this time, Long Ziwei and the others seemed extremely restrained. Long Ziwei cautiously said, Master Dean. Ziwei, Ingjie, Songa. Long Chen came to the crowd and greeted them enthusiastically, which made Long Ziwei and others burst into ecstasy. Long Chen was still the same Long Chen. In a word, everyone's the distance was instantly shortened. Are you still used to it in the academy? Long Chen laughed. Get used to it, we are very good here, 1,000 times better than in Tianhuang, 10,000 times. Yuang looked at Long Chen with an excited expression, and the other mercenary powerhouses were also very excited. Long Chen is even more grateful. Compared with Tianhuang, one is heaven and the other is hell. Here, they can enjoy the treatment of inner disciples, and the medicines and resources distributed are unimaginable for them. The most important thing is that, except for the disciples of the first branch, everyone did not treat them as outsiders. If there was any difficulty, they would take the initiative to help. That kind of enthusiasm made them feel moved to tears. In the previous bloody battle, if it wasn't for the disciples of the Galaxy sect to stop them, they would have rushed out with the Dragon Blood Legion. Even if they died, they would have to protect Lingxiao Academy. The only thing they could repay the academy was to work hard. Yuang said, Dean Long Chen. Call me Long Chen. Long Chen pretended to be stern. Yuang had no choice but to change her mind. We have enjoyed so much care from the academy, let's go out and clean the battlefield. After all, there's not much we can do for the academy. Yes, let's do this kind of rough work. The other mercenaries also said eating free food in the academy every day, which made them feel very uneasy. Long Chen smiled and said, Who said you can do not much for the academy? Not much now doesn't mean not much in the future. Don't help them, helping them is equal to harming them. When I let them go to work, I'm also giving them a chance. If they can't seize this opportunity, they will really be useless in the future. Long Chen saw that after the mercenaries were robbed in the academy, more than 80% of the powerhouses had advanced to the 9 stars destiny, and Long Chen felt that the Jiuli runes in their bodies were rapidly awakening, and their potential was huge. As long as there are enough resources for them, the powerful Jiuli runes in their bodies will make them directly awaken the destiny roulette. At that time, their strength will definitely be very powerful. The most important thing is that Long Chen found that in their Jili runes, there are gradually fluctuations in the stars. Perhaps, the galaxy heavenly art is undergoing a mutation. Long Chen has also seen the previous battles of the people. Their strength is not inferior to the disciples of the galaxy sect. As time goes by, the gap between them will gradually be revealed. Perhaps the galaxy heaven art will flourish on them. When the people who fought on the battlefield all returned to the barrier, and the disciples in the barrier were all driven into the battlefield, now all the barrier is true warriors. At this time, the disciples of the First Academy looked at Long Chen, and there was nothing but worship and awe in their eyes. In this battle, they finally saw the elegance of the peerless genius, and they felt supremely honored to have such a dean. Brothers, hurry up and repair, 1 day later, go to war. Long Chen said. Yi Ziwen couldn't help but said, Dean Long Chen. Since I went to the battlefield, I am a bloody brother. Compared with the dean, I prefer to hear you call me a brother. Long Chen said. Long Chen's words made all the disciples present. Their blood surged, and their excited noses turned sour. How could they be called brothers by a strong man like Long Chen? Yi Ziwen was so excited that his voice trembled, his mouth opened, and he even forgot what he was about to say. Tomorrow we will set off to hunt down those fish that slip through the net. Anyone who dares to obstruct them will be blocked by people and killed by gods. Without waiting for Yi Ziwen to ask, Long Chen gave the answer directly. When he heard Long Chen's words, everyone's blood was boiling, and Long Chen was going to take them to the expedition. Chapter 52:22. The disciples of the first branch fell to the ground as soon as they walked out of the barrier, and the remaining pressure on the battlefield was still not something they could resist. Because their willpower is too weak and their hearts are full of fear, then this kind of coercion will be infinitely amplified. This coercion cannot be crushed to death. In fact, this is also a kind of experience, especially for these disciples who have never experienced brutal killing. This is a kind of opportunity. Long Chen only let these disciples come out to clean the battlefield, but in fact, in addition to the powerhouses who participated in the war, almost everyone else walked out of the enchantment, including Lu Chenkong. Although he was respected as a human emperor, he felt the fierceness on the battlefield, which still made his heart skip a beat and his soul tingled. He sighed inwardly. Perhaps he is the weakest emperor in the world, his heart is full of fear, but he still cleans the battlefield with everyone. When those disciples saw Lu Chenkong also come out to clean up the battlefield, the anger in their hearts was reduced a lot. They stopped complaining and began to work hard to support their bodies, staggering forward. Lu Chenkong said to everyone, Children, don't complain, Dean Long Chen gave you a great opportunity. If you are not willing to be a waste, seize this opportunity. The academy has delayed your great years. Originally, your whole life will be spent in mediocrity until you die. But now, Dean Long Chen has given you the opportunity to change your life against the sky, and it is also your only chance. Seizing the opportunity and not seizing the opportunity will be two different lives in the future. Although these disciples didn't quite understand Lu Chenkong's words, they could only grit their teeth and clean the battlefield under terrifying pressure. On the battlefield, there were broken limbs everywhere, and the bloody aura came from the surface. Countless disciples kept vomiting because they couldn't bear it, but no matter what, they had to persevere. If it was the era when Lu Chenkong was the dean, they might be able to use the influence of their own family elders to steal tricks and bargain, but in front of Long Chen, these tricks were useless. Enduring the severe sting of the soul, dragging their bodies as if they were filled with lead, these disciples cleaned out the corpses on the battlefield, and some powerful corpses would be terrifying the moment they touched them. The power of qi and blood was so shocking that qi and blood surged, but he could only grit his teeth and work. In the enchantment, Long Chen and all the warriors began to exercise their skills to heal their injuries. When Long Chen opened his eyes and saw his meridians, he couldn't help asking, when did my meridians suffer such a serious injury? Why didn't I notice it myself? However, Long Chen asked, Qianquan Ding and Kiel Shiyue were silent. Long Chen asked Qianquan Ding, Senior, what is going on? Qianquan Cauldron said, You should ask Xie Yu. Cough, actually, maybe. Kiel Shiyue suddenly stuttered. Is it okay to tell the truth? Long Chen said angrily. Let's put it this way, it's my fault, I just unsealed the first form, our strengths have not been run in, and there is a flaw in the coordination which has a great impact on your meridians. But you can't blame me entirely. Using my power will only slightly damage your meridians, but the blow you fought with Diu caused a huge shock, which made you hurt so badly. The Kiel Evil Moon said. Of course, if there is no previous meridian shock, even if you fight for the Emperor Jade, it will not be like this. Kyan Kunding added. I want you to talk too much? Dragon Bone Evil Moon was furious. Long Chen understands this. The power of the Kiel Evil Moon is not so easy to use, especially if it is used for the first time. It must be that the Kiel Evil Moon is neither light nor heavy, in order to reflect his own strength, regardless of whether Long Chen's meridians can bear it, directly used its magic. The so-called slight damage of the Kiel Evil Moon must be deliberately said to be small. It should have been buried at that time, but at the moment of the collision with the Emperor Jade, the hidden danger broke out. So later, when Long Chen raised the knife to cut the Brahma God map, only the Qianquan Cauldron and the Dragon Bone Shiyue exclaimed in unison. The meridians will completely explode. Although you were injured a little bit, Xie Yu's supernatural powers are really strong. This time, it's really up to you. Long Chen knew Xie Yu's character and flattered a bit. Of course, unlike some people, who only eat and do not work, let others support them all day long, and when the critical moment comes, they shrink their heads. In the face of the ridicule of the Kiel Evil Moon, Qianquan Ding ignored it. Obviously, the character of the Qianquan tripod is much calmer than that of the Kiel Evil Moon. Long Chen, let me tell you, the waning moon shakes the world is the first form I unlocked, and there are stronger forms later. However, even in the first form, I have awakened a lot of tricks. The ones I used before were just the simplest tricks I just learned. There are a few more powerful tricks, I just touched the threshold, I dare not let you use it, I am afraid that it will really blow you up. The Kiel Evil Moon's voice is full of excitement. There are stronger ones? Long Chen was startled. You must know that the two moves of the Dragon Bone Evil Moon have already scared Long Chen. If there are stronger ones, how strong are the moves? Of course, the previous two moves can only inspire 2 or 3/10 of my strength. After all, we have never run in before, so I only dare to use such strength. Hurry up and recuperate, and then we will study these tricks together. When the time comes, real people stop killing people and gods stop killing gods. The Kiel Evil Moon laughed. After Long Chen listened, he was not calm and hurriedly swallowed a few pills and began to use the power of chaos space to repair the wound. After 3 hours, Long Chen's meridians, which were riddled with holes, were initially repaired, the holes shrunk, and they didn't look so scary, but Long Chen was shocked to find that the rich vitality of life in the chaotic space was actually taken by him. If we extract it again, we must extract the power of the ancient hibiscus tree and the wood of the Een. Long Chen walked out of the enchantment, looked at the battlefield, and found a mountain of corpses piled up on the battlefield. These corpses included giant dragons, blood demons, and big demons. Only terrifying races can leave corpses, and those weak creatures have long been shaken to powder. Long Chen couldn't help being overjoyed when he saw these corpses. He directly collected these corpses into the chaotic space. Thousands of corpses were thrown into the chaotic space. You must know that these are all terrifying half-step emperors, filled with black soil. When the black soil devoured the corpse and immediately released the endless energy of life, Long Chen suddenly regained his spirits and began to speed up the healing. After 3 hours, Long Chen's meridians have recovered as before, although the strength has not fully recovered, but Long Chen can't wait. Come on, Xie Yu. Chapter 5223. In order not to affect others, Long Chen came to a desolate place far away from the academy. Just in case, Long Chen left Lei Linger and Hua Linger in the academy. In the previous battle, Lei Linger and Hua Linger showed their amazing combat power. You must know that the boundless sea of thunder and fire, but the key to this victory, without the two of them, will inevitably appear in the academy. Huge casualties. And in order to support the sea of thunder and fire, all their strength was scattered. They have been assisting the Dragon Blood Legion to attack. If they don't need to assist others, both Lei Linger and Hua Linger have the strength to kill the Emperor alone. The most important thing is that the last time they absorbed the power of thunder and fire, only half of them were digested, and most of them were not digested. Moreover, they have not fully adapted to the skyrocketing power. When they are fully digested, their strength will increase to a point where even Long Chen was shocked. Long Chen came to a wild place, and the Keel Evil Moon was suspended in front of Long Chen. At this time, the black current of the Keel Evil Moon was circulating, and the evil spirit was soaring to the sky. On both sides of the blade, two black giant dragon images flickered, as if two giant dragons were about to fly out of the blade. The fierce murderous aura made the whole world feel uneasy, as if it was born for killing. Buzzing. In addition to the two dragon patterns on the Keel Evil Moon, there are countless runes flickering. Those runes are like life, and they are constantly swimming. Long Chen found that the Keel Evil Moon at this time, the breath seems to be stronger than that. Stronger before. Don't be shocked, you have unlocked my first form, my primitive runes are constantly awakening, and my power is constantly getting stronger. Although your meridian has been repaired, the power of the source is too much. We are not in a hurry to integrate new tricks, and directly review the previous waning moon piercing the sky. The previous move, because it was dominated by me, caused a huge impact on your body. Now I will teach you this move. After you are integrated, our strength will be combined into one. Not only will the strength increase greatly, but the impact will be reduced. The most important thing is that the impact will be shared by us, and the damage to you will be minimal. As long as you have enough strength, you can use this trick however you want. The Keel Evil Moon said, "Listen to what you mean? I can learn this trick too?" Long Chen was surprised. It's really interesting. If you don't learn it, how can we integrate it? Okay, my trick is very simple. I will transfer the runes into your body, no matter if you are purple blood, colorful supreme blood, dragon blood, or stars. The power to stimulate is the same. One method is the same as all methods. You first think about which kind of power is the easiest to control. Dragon Bone Shiyue said. Of course it's purple blood. Long Chen didn't even think about it. Purple blood is the softest power and the easiest power to control. Well, you run the purple blood. I will introduce the rune into your bloodline. You use the bloodline to re-engrave, the rune is re-engraved, and I will teach you how to run it. Keel Shiyue said. Buzz, after the Keel Evil Moon finished, the whole body glowed, the tip of the knife pointed at Long Chen's heart, and the countless runes on the knife, like swimming tadpoles, poured into Long Chen's body. Long Chen has already prepared the power of purple blood to welcome the arrival of those runes. When those runes poured into Long Chen's purple blood, Long Chen's body trembled suddenly, and he felt chills pouring into his body. The rune was so cold that it almost froze his soul. Fortunately, the power of purple blood is extremely gentle, and there is almost no repulsive force. When those runes enter Long Chen's body, Long Chen runs the power of purple blood to imitate those runes. Originally, it was an extremely difficult and complicated process to reproduce a rune and integrate it into the bloodline. Usually, it would take hundreds of years or even longer to reproduce a set of exercise runes. Re-engraving runes in blood and inheriting magical powers is nothing new in the history of human cultivation, but this kind of re-engraving takes too long and is disliked by many people. If a person is extremely talented, he can completely rely on his own understanding to comprehend the exercises, and he will not choose to reproduce. Choosing to re-engraved means that the person's understanding is not high, and powerful exercises cannot be inherited through re-engraving. Therefore, re-engraving is a stupid method. But Long Chen's re-engraving is different. What he re-engraved is the rune of the Keel Evil Moon, and the Keel Evil Moon is actively helping him to re-engrave, plus the powerful inclusiveness of Zixue, in less than an hour, in Long Chen's purple blood, a rune the size of a grain of rice appeared. Although these runes are small, they look exactly the same as the runes injected into Long Chen's body by Dragon Bone Evil Moon, and their breath is exactly the same. At this time, The re-engraving has been completed, and the rune of the Keel Evil Moon has begun to retract. The Keel Evil Moon is erected in front of Long Chen, and the rune on its body is constantly swimming. The small runes in Long Chen's body, under the aura of the Dragon Bone Evil Moon, also began to swim regularly. At first, the running speed of the runes in Long Chen's body was extremely slow, but as time went by, his body began to swim very slowly. The swimming frequency of the runes gradually began to be consistent with the running frequency of the runes on the Dragon Bone Evil Moon. "Call my name," Keel Shiyue suddenly said. "The waning moon is earth-shattering." Long Chen followed with a cry. "Buzz, no need for Long Chen to do anything." As he shouted, the runes in his body trembled violently and continued to close together, forming a waning moon. At this time, the blade of the Keel Evil Moon lighted up, the crescent moon pattern kept flashing, and the waning moon in Long Chen's body was also pulled and flashed together. "I'm going, it's faster than I thought." Seeing that Long Chen had completed the first step almost effortlessly, Keel Shiyue became excited. "Buzz," the Keel Evil Moon blade lit up, and the endless runes gathered together. At that moment, Long Chen was pulled, his big hands stretched forward, and a crescent moon appeared in Long Chen's palm, slashing towards the front, and at the same time he couldn't help but drink. The waning moon pierces the sky. Boom! With a loud explosion, a crescent moon blade came out, and the mountain in front of Long Chen was split open by the crescent moon blade. At that moment, Long Chen was stunned. It was nothing to split an ordinary mountain with one palm, but this mountain was a mine, and the whole mountain was a piece of hard ore. Splitting a hard mine is nothing. The key point is that the mine was split with a gap of about a zhang wide. The cut surface is as smooth as a mirror, and the light can be seen. This shows that the power of this blow is highly concentrated, and Long Chen, this is the first time in my life that I have seen such a terrifying spell. This is too terrifying. Long Chen's jaw was about to fall off. Was this really made by himself? Your power of purple blood is really terrifying. You can control it at the micro level just by learning it. Not only was Long Chen shocked by this blow, but even the Keel Shiyue was also shocked. "Come on, strike while the iron is hot. Let's learn the next move, which is also the strongest move in my first state," Keel Shiyue said excitedly. Chapter 52-24, The Strongest Move? Long Chen's heart is beating wildly, and the waning moon pierces the sky, which is already the most terrifying trick that Long Chen has ever seen, and the Keel Evil Moon is even more terrifying. Now I have awakened a total of 18 kinds of magical powers, 9 of which are for my own use, and 9 that need your cooperation. The waning moon piercing the sky is just the first move to get started. There was a hint of pride in his voice. The first move to get started? Long Chen was so shocked that his chin was about to fall. He couldn't believe it, but he didn't dare to say that the Keel Shiyue was awesome. He was afraid that this guy would be angry. If what Shiyue said was true, it would be too exaggerated. "I know you are very strange. Why do you have to learn the strongest move after learning the first move?" Keel Shiyue said. Long Chen nodded. It was true, the Keel Evil Moon said, "because your energy can't support so many tricks at all. I think it is enough to learn the first and last tricks. After all, with limited resources, we must learn to use them rationally." "Come on, no more nonsense, I'll teach you this trick. It's also very simple, but you need to control your power. Don't let it drain all your power. In particular, other bloodline powers cannot be involved, otherwise it will be very dangerous." After the Dragon Bone Evil Moon finished speaking, it trembled all over, and the runes all over the body began to burst. Boom, boom, boom. The runes in Long Chen's body also began to explode. One rune exploded into thousands of runes in an instant, and all the runes exploded and turned into hundreds of millions of small runes. Buzz, hundreds of millions of runes burned at the same time. Long Chen's body trembled violently. A powerful suction rushed to Long Chen's limbs. The dragon blood, colorful supreme blood, and the power of stars in Long Chen's body became violent in an instant. "Get up," and seemed to be involved. "Control them," the Keel Evil Moon called. In fact, There is no need to call the Keel evil moon. Long Chen has instinctively controlled them, because at the moment when these runes are burned, the power of the purple blood in Long Chen's body is all evacuated, and a purple blood that is exactly the same as the Keel evil moon is evacuated. The long knife appeared. As soon as this long knife appeared, Long Chen's big hand trembled violently, and there was an extra long knife in his hand that was exactly the same as the dragon bone evil moon. The long knife trembled, and the universe changed color. This purple Keel evil moon seemed to be extremely hungry. It would be satisfied if Long Chen handed over all his power to it. Long Chen frantically controlled it and did not let it extract other things in his body. Buzzing. The purple Keel evil moon in Long Chen's hand is like a wild horse that is out of control. It is not controlled by Long Chen at all. It desperately wants to control Long Chen, and Long Chen desperately fights against it. The long knife trembled, and after an incense stick of time, Long Chen was already sweating profusely, and the purple Keel evil moon was finally tamed by him. But fighting against the purple Keel evil moon for so long, Long Chen's purple blood power has consumed almost 90%. Boom! The Keel evil moon in Long Chen's hand burst open, turned into an endless purple mist, and returned to Long Chen's body. Failed. Long Chen was shocked. No, on the contrary, we have succeeded, you have mastered it, and next time, we can use this trick together. However, this is our unique trick. Once used, we will no longer have any combat power, so don't use it easily. You tame it with purple blood, it will obey your will, and when it is fully released, it will drain all your strength in an instant. The Keel evil moon is very serious. Will I absorb a drop of my strength? Long Chen was shocked. If Huolinger and Leilinger are connected to your power, their power will also be sucked to the ground. Keel Shiyue said, "I'm going, how strong is this move?" Long Chen said in disbelief. He didn't even know how strong Huolinger and Leilinger were. If this move would drain all the power of the three of them, it would definitely destroy the world with one blow. So, I have to remind you first that this trick should not be used easily. After all, there is a guy who eats free food. His best trick is to see death without help. You can't count on it. Keel Shiyue reminded Long Chen at the same time. Don't forget to lose the Qiankuan Ding. Long Chen was a little embarrassed, and the Keel evil moon seemed to be unpleasant to the Qiankuan cauldron. Fortunately, the Qiankuan cauldron had a good temper and did not care about the Keel evil moon. Otherwise it would be really difficult for Long Chen to do it. In fact, Qiankuan Ding has helped Long Chen countless times, but it is not obvious that many things are done. Obviously, it is afraid of contaminating Long Chen with karma. These Long Chen know it. I won't use this trick unless I have to. By the way, what is this trick called? Long Chen asked. I can't say the name of this trick now, and I will tell you when you use it. The Dragon Bone Evil Moon said, in addition, I think the power of the waning moon consumes too much for you. We can develop a set of tricks that consume less power but have a lot of power. Is there such a good thing? Long Chen was taken aback. Yes, such as your Kai Tian Jiushi. Now that you have the power of the waning moon in your body, we will engrave the Kai Tianjiu style rune on my body. The 9 styles are superimposed, compressing each other, and the consumption is small, but the power is not small at all. The Keel evil moon said. Snapped Long Chen excitedly patted his thigh and jumped up. Yeah, how could I forget about this? Come, let's paint the rest of the runes together. After being reminded by the Dragon Bone Evil Moon, Long Chen was very excited. You must know that although Kai Tian Jiushi is a trick of the mortal world, it is extremely subtle. The power of the tricks superimposes and compresses each other. Long Chen immediately began to depict the runes with the Dragon Bone Evil Moon. Last time, Long Chen and the Dragon Bone Evil Moon were depicted in the 7th style, and they couldn't continue to portray them, because Long Chen's strength was not enough to support it. And every rune of Kai Tian rune is completed according to the superposition power of all the previous runes. At that time, Long Chen couldn't bear the terrifying superposition power and had to give up. But it's different now. Long Chen has that strength. But what Long Chen didn't expect is that the rune that was originally depicted on the Kiel Shiyue was erased directly by it. This makes Long Chen both surprised and delighted. In this way, he can redescribe the runes from Kaitian 1 to Kaitian 9. In the words of Dragon Bone Shiyue, he now has the power of the waning moon, and he needs to use the waning moon. Use the power to describe the runes so that if the two of them cooperate, they will get twice the result with half the effort. The two were busy for more than 3 hours. When the 9 open sky runes were engraved on the Kiel Shiyue, looking at those runes, Long Chen shouted excitedly, waiting for another battle like before. It's almost time, it's time to settle accounts. Long Chen put away the Kiel evil moon, a gloomy smile appeared on his face, and the figure disappeared in an instant. Chapter 52-25. Just as Long Chen was cultivating, a shocking news in the Emperor's day, like a volcanic eruption, spread rapidly. What? Brahma Pill Valley and allies raid Lingxiao Academy? My God, there are 37 races, more than 7,000 forces, 8 human emperors, half-step human emperors, 10,000 people, and hundreds of millions of powerhouses above the three-brained heavenly sage? Doesn't this strength turn the entire Emperor Heaven over? Lingxiao Academy is over now, and they will be uprooted. Deserving it, that Long Chen is too arrogant. He dared to kill so many people in the Tianhua demon realm, and offended most of the Emperor's power. Who will die if he doesn't die? However, I heard that Brahma Pill Valley secretly launched an offensive and defensive alliance to deal with Lingxiao Academy, but some people refused their wooing, and among those who refused to woo them, some disciples were slaughtered by Long Chen. You think it is strange, not surprisingly? It's really strange. You can both take revenge and please the Brahma Pill Valley. You can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and an idiot will refuse. Hey, it's so lively now, just wait for the shocking news. These are all the discussions of people when Brahma Pill Valley attacked Lingxiao Academy. Although Brahma Pill Valley secretly raided Lingxiao Academy, all actions are kept secret. But there is no airtight wall in the world, and with such a large-scale operation, the slightest clue will attract people's attention. However, after only half a day, the news they expected did not appear. When they learned of what happened at the academy, they were shocked and dumbfounded. What? All the 8 emperors died in battle? Half a steppe emperor failed to survive? Hundreds of millions of strong people, only a few thousand escaped, and the rest were wiped out? When they heard this news, the major forces were stunned. Their first reaction was disbelief. They thought it must be a rumor. All the 8 emperors died in battle. How is this possible? That is a strong human emperor, even if he can't beat it, won't he escape? In their hearts, it is impossible for a strong human emperor to fall. Long Chen killed the 3 emperors by himself? Oh my God, I am invincible under the emperor, and the emperor is replaced by 1. This is no longer a joke. As time went on, more and more news came in, and the news became more and more detailed, and people finally believed that it was not a lie. This war started. In addition to Brahma Pill Valley and the powerhouses they had summoned, there were also many people who were good at inquiring about news. They had already approached Lingxiao Academy in secret and set up a sky-peeping formation in several surrounding areas. Although these formations became ineffective from time to time due to fierce battles, some amazing pictures could always be seen through the distorted space. The first-hand information was passed on by them. Because they couldn't see clearly, they could only read and guess and describe the process in general terms. The accurate news was delivered by those who fled. They went to the battlefield and escaped from death. They witnessed every terrifying scene. The god of the 8 domains was torn apart by the lord of the palace. The god of Brahma fled alone. The Pill Valley of Brahma was defeated, and the attackers were almost wiped out. This news shook the whole world. My God, the youngest dean in the history of Lingxiao Academy is actually a descendant of 9 stars? Isn't the whole world going to be destroyed because of him? What does Lingxiao Academy want to do? He even dared to take the risk of the world and cultivate the descendants of the 9 stars. Does he want to be the enemy of the whole world? When they learned that Long Chen was the descendant of 9 stars, people didn't react at first. When they read ancient books and documents, and learned from the older generation what the descendants of 9 stars meant, they were all terrified. With the turmoil outside, the descendants of Jiuxing have become a nightmare for countless people, but Long Chen is happy in his heart, and he can already control the waning moon's shocking form with the Keel Evil Moon. Moreover, he has also mastered the waning moon piercing the sky almost perfectly. Even if there is no Keel Evil Moon, he can use this move alone. The terrifying destructive power of this move has surpassed the Emperor's blood seal, and it is the strongest unarmed attack by Long Chen. If the Dragon Bone Evil Moon is used, this move is several times stronger than when it was performed yesterday, and the load on the body is very small. Long Chen can use this move repeatedly. What excites Long Chen the most is that the opening of the sky has been completed. This is the least expensive for Long Chen, but the power is super powerful, which is conducive to long battles. If you encounter a super terrifying powerhouse, Dragon Bone Shiyue still has a unique trick to use. Although Long Chen still doesn't know how strong this trick is, it can take away everything he has with Lei Linger and Hua Linger. Strength, even if you think about it with your toes, you know how terrifying this blow is. At this time, Long Chen was full of confidence and returned to the academy with the Keel Evil Moon on his back. In the past, Long Chen had always carried the Keel Evil Moon on his back, but then the Keel Evil Moon needed to retreat, so he stayed in the chaotic space. Now the Dragon Bone Evil Moon requires Long Chen to carry it on his back. In its words, if he wants to quickly awaken to the next state, he needs to absorb more blood and soul power. In the chaotic space, it will miss a lot of opportunities. Hearing the next state, Long Chen suddenly became interested and asked how long it would take for Dragon Bone Evil Moon to enter the next state. As a result, it let Long Chen see the dragon pattern on his knife. Long Chen glanced at it, and 2 dragon patterns ran through the entire blade. At the position of the dragon's tail, there was a red dot the same size as the tip of a needle. The Keel Evil Moon let Long Chen see this red dot. This is the power of blood and soul that I have currently accumulated. When the power of blood and soul fills the entire dragon pattern, I can enter the next state. Dragon Bone Shiyue said. Fill fully. Long Chen looked at the small red dot, and then looked at the huge blade. According to this ratio, it would take at least tens of thousands of red dots to fill the entire blade. And this red dot is all the power of blood and soul accumulated by Dragon Bone Shiyue, and this power of blood and soul includes the power of blood and soul accumulated in this war. The so-called power of blood and soul is the power of blood essence and soul that erupts when the strong die. These powers are normally absorbed by the heavens and scattered into reincarnation. However, the Keel Evil Moon needs to absorb the power of these blood and souls to break the seal in the body, but in this battle, 8 human emperors, so many half-step human emperors, and countless heavenly saints were killed, but only gathered blood souls a little bigger than the tip of a needle. If you want the Dragon Bone Evil Moon to enter the next state, you need to go through tens of thousands of battles of this level at least, tens of thousands of battles. Long Chen thinks that his scalp is numb. When Long Chen returned to Lingshao Academy, the Dragon Blood warriors had recovered 7 to 88, while the other powerhouses recovered much more slowly. Obviously, they could not fight at this time. Brothers, let's go. With Long Chen's order, the Dragon Blood warriors gathered in an instant, and the moment they stood up, an invisible murderous aura filled the sky and the earth. Chapter 52:26. Even if they didn't enter a fighting state, the moment they gathered, a powerful murderous aura naturally radiated out. The Dragon Blood warriors seem to be the gods of war who were born for war. Their eyes are calm, but deep in their eyes, there is a monstrous fighting intent hidden, which can make the universe tremble. When the Dragon Blood warriors gathered, the atmosphere of the scene changed in an instant, and all the powerhouses who participated in the battle before also stood up. Although the best of them recovered only 50% of their combat power, the poor only recovered 20% to 30%, and some of them still had injuries, but they still stood up. I don't know why. They feel that if they can fight with Long Chen, even if they die on the battlefield, it will be their lifelong glory, fighting for Long Chen and dying without regret. Set off. Long Chen didn't have any extra words. With a big wave of his hand, the Dragon Blood warriors slowly walked out of the academy, and all the powerhouses in the enchantment followed, leaving no one behind. When Bai Shishi's mother and other older generation powerhouses saw this scene, they couldn't help feeling emotional. This is the charm of Long Chen. These disciples obviously have not recovered their combat power. If they go to the battlefield, the probability of surviving is very low, but none of these people complained, and none of them spoke, which represented their extreme trust in Long Chen. I am willing to hand over my life to Long Chen. Dean Long Chen, we are going too. When everyone walked out of the enchantment, some of the disciples who came out to clean the battlefield under the pressure of Long Chen shouted loudly. You went to the battlefield and you may not be able to come back alive again. Are you sure you want to go? Long Chen looked at these disciples with some surprise. Those brothers who are injured must go to the battlefield. If we don't even have the courage to go to the battlefield, then we will really be waste for a lifetime. On this battlefield, I understand a lot of truths that I didn't understand before. I would rather die in battle than be a waste, and ask Dean Long Chen to complete it. The disciple shouted loudly. I also asked the dean to complete it. The disciple shouted loudly, and there were hundreds of thousands of disciples at the same time. These disciples who sweep the battlefield are oppressed and stimulated by the battlefield, and their primitive desires are awakening. In fact, they have super bloodlines, but they have been abandoned all the time. Now they are under the pressure on the battlefield, which stimulates their instinct. The heart of the strong gradually awakened. Aren't you afraid of death? Long Chen asked. Of course we are afraid of death, but we are even more afraid of being useless and doing nothing for the rest of our lives, the man replied loudly. A smile appeared on Long Chen's face. His goal was achieved. Among the millions of strong people present, hundreds of thousands of warriors were created. However, this is not bad. As for those who dare not participate in the war, it is estimated that this will be the case in this life, and they cannot be expected to go to the battlefield, but they can do some clerical chores. Walk. Long Chen waved his hand, and under the leadership of the Dragon Blood Legion, everyone walked out of Lingshao Academy with vigor and vigor. After leaving Lingshao Academy, Xiachen took out the array plate, and soon, countless light spots appeared on the array plate. These light spots are all marks made by Xiachen. Some of the light spots are very bright and some are very dim. The light points are close, and the dim light points are far away. Buzz, when a target was determined, Xiachen directly took out dozens of array plates and formed a large circle to surround everyone. Suddenly, the spatial fluctuations erupted, and the dozen or so array plates burst into pieces. Long Chen and others instantly disappear. Buzz, the void trembled, and when Long Chen and others appeared again, they had come to a lofty mountain gate. On the mountain gate, the 3 characters of Zayumen were written. Xiaoyao sect, which has been inherited for countless years in the Emperor's heaven, has huge strength, and its ore resources have spread to 3 large domains. There are many disciples, and experts are like clouds. When Long Chen and others came, the disciples guarding the mountain gate were so frightened that their eyes flew out, and they immediately sounded the alarm, and the piercing alarm sounded through the entire Zayumen. Who? At this moment, a loud shout came, an old man holding a staff, before countless strong people came down to the mountain gate. Human sovereign powerhouse? Guoran and the others were slightly surprised. Emperor Tian was really hiding a dragon and a crouching tiger, and a human emperor-level powerhouse appeared. Who are you? What do you mean when you come to my Xiaoyao sect? The powerful human emperor was the sect master of Xiaoyao sect, and he said angrily. Long Chen looked at the indignation of the old man, and there was a sneer on his face. I don't want to talk nonsense with you. Hand over the person who participated in the sneak attack on my Lingshao Academy, otherwise, from now on, there will be no Zayumen anymore. What did you say? When did my Zayumen take part in the sneak attack on Lingshao Academy? Do you show the evidence? The powerful man said angrily. Give you time to consider 3 numbers. 1. Long Chen said coldly. You, the oldest academy in the 9 heavens and 10 lands, is actually bloody, and there is no excuse for the sin. The powerful human emperor was furious. 2. Long Chen was too lazy to argue with him, so he called out the second. Long Chen's absolute trust in Xiaqin, the marks he made, even if it is a strong human emperor, don't want to clear it within 10 days. What do you mean? Are you deliberately making an excuse to destroy my Zayumin? Sure enough, the descendants of the 9 stars are going to destroy the whole world. You want to start with my Zayumin, right? What happened to the descendant of 9 stars? The big deal is that you kill us all. Can you kill all the people in 9 days and 10 places? The strong man roared. The words of the strong human emperor suddenly made Guoran and others angry. This old guy is sinister enough, and he deliberately used the 9-star descendants as a shield. If Long Chen killed them, then it would be equivalent to the legend. He is sure that Long Chen does not dare to do it, because from the perspective of interests, Long Chen's actions against them will make the whole world panic, so the powerhouses in the world will join forces to fight against Long Chen for self-protection. 3. Long Chen ignored the old man and shouted out the last word, the moment the word 3 came out. Choke! A sword chi rose into the sky and fell towards the strong human emperor. The strong human emperor was horrified and blocked with the staff in his hand. Puff! As a result, he was cut into 2 pieces by Yu Zaifeng's sword and staff, and the sword's energy remained intact, splitting the gatehouse, the hall, and the mountains. Boom! The entire Xiaoyao gate was split in half by Yu Zaifeng's sword, and then a terrified shout came from inside the Xiaoyao gate, our luck pool. This sword of Yu Zifeng not only killed the door owner, but also split open the entire Zayumin, and also exploded the Qi luck god pool. In the end, from now on, there will be no more happy door. Damn Long Chen, the old man fought with you. At this moment, a roar came, and a half-step human emperor was killed from the Zayumin with a twisted face. Chapter 52:27. The old man roared and rushed straight to Long Chen. His whole body was full of aura, and the terrifying human emperor's aura was soaring wildly. He's going to blow himself up, Long Ziwei shouted in horror, but the dragon blood warriors standing at the front all looked at the man coldly, with no intention of defending or shooting. However, what everyone didn't expect was that the old man rushed in front of Long Chen, like a deflated ball, and actually held his breath. Long Chen looked at the old man coldly and said, "Dare to do it but dare not act. You should have thought about this result when you attacked my Lingxiao Academy and used the power of the Emperor to crush the strong people of my academy. If you are brave, you should die in battle, and if you are resourceful, you should know my intention to let you back. If you are loyal to the sect, you will not set fire to the door. If you are righteous, you will not hide and let the old man come out and die. You are a brazen, dishonest, and unrighteous person. I don't believe that you have the courage to commit suicide. You don't have the courage to commit suicide. You just put on a posture and let us kill you." The old man gritted his teeth and trembled all over. His eyes were full of fear, and his weaknesses were all seen through by Long Chen. "Since you cherish life so much, why do you still trample on other people's lives?" Guoran stretched out his hand and was about to take action, but was stopped by Long Chen. "Ziwei, come and take him on the road." Long Chen said. Although he is a half-step human emperor, Long Chen felt that it was inappropriate for the Dragon Blood Legion to kill such a person, and called out Long Ziwei directly. Long Ziwei is very clever, although he is also a person who is not afraid of the sky, but he is still a little scared to let him kill a half-step human emperor-level powerhouse. But Long Chen has already spoken. He gritted his teeth, stood up, forcibly suppressed his fear, and stabbed the old man's eyebrows with a sword. Puff! The old man didn't dare to move, let Long Ziwei kill him with a sword, and the half-buried human sovereign's body just fell on the ground. "We're fighting with you." The sect master and the deputy sect master were killed one after another. Someone in the Xiaoyao sect roared and drew out their weapons, but although they drew out their weapons, no one dared to step forward. Long Chen didn't even look at them, but looked at Long Ziwei and the others with unbearable expressions on their faces. Long Chen knew what they were thinking. Long Chen said lightly, "I'll teach you a lesson today. Remember, at any time, don't be kind to the enemy, because when their knives pierce your heart, your kindness will not protect you a little bit." Effect. Showing kindness towards the enemy is equivalent to forgetting hatred. Forgetting hatred is equivalent to betrayal. Think about it, if the barrier was broken at that time, would our fate be better than these people? Long Ziwei killed the Banbu human sovereign, but he felt a little uncomfortable in his heart. After all, he was a high-ranking Banbu human sovereign who was executed just like that. That kind of hero's twilight sadness can easily arouse people's feelings. Sympathy. But Long Chen's words exploded in their minds like thunder. They looked at the disciples in Zayumen who were holding weapons and glaring at them. If the enchantment was broken, would they still have a chance to glare at the enemy? Kill them all. Come and get rid of the roots. Long Ziwei's sympathy for them disappeared in an instant. Looking at these guys with weapons, murderous intent surged in his eyes. It's not them who made the mistake. The injustice is the head, the debt is the owner, and when they seek revenge, it's not too late to kill them. Long Chen said lightly. After speaking with a big hand, Xiachen started the battle, and everyone disappeared instantly. After Long Chen and others left, the powerhouses of Zayumen suddenly became confused, and then roars spread throughout Zayumen. Puff puff. The powerhouses of Zayumen suddenly killed each other, and they shot each other fiercely, as if they saw the killing of their father's enemy. If Long Chen and others saw this scene, they would definitely be stunned. There were originally several major factions in the Xiaoyao sect, but now the strongest are dead. With the dragons without a leader, they immediately began to compete for the resources in the door, especially in front of the treasure house, and blood flowed into rivers almost instantly. Long Chen didn't know the situation in Zayumen at all. Of course, even if he knew, he sneered and ignored it. This is human nature. Under the trembling of the void, they have come to an island. This is the territory of the Kraken family. When Long Chen and others came, the whole island boiled instantly, and countless terrifying breaths emerged one after another. Before Long Chen could speak, countless water columns in the sea rose into the sky and surrounded them. Obviously, the group of sirens are ready for battle. Don't shout, let's kill. Long Chen saw this posture and directly omitted the previous steps. Kill. After receiving Long Chen's order, the Dragon Blood warriors rushed out first, followed by the disciples of the Galaxy sect and the mercenary warriors of the Jiuli lineage, and then the disciples of the main hospital and the branch. Roar, a thunderous roar came, and the endless imperial might was agitated, and a semonster covering the sky appeared, with a human head and a snake body, holding a bone fork and killing him with endless imperial power. Long Chen's heart froze. This sea monster's breath is so strong, stronger than those powerful emperors who attacked the academy. This is the real powerhouse. Those powerhouses who attacked Lingxiao Academy, even the powerhouses of Qinzong, Qizong, and Heaven and Human Clan, have been in high positions all the year round and are pampered. If they can suppress the opponent with the power of the human emperor, they will win. If they can't suppress it, they will basically die. But the monster beast human emperor in front of them is different. Its aura looks like it has been honed all year round. Come out, this is the real powerhouse. Long Chen was afraid that the crowd would not be able to stop him. Just as he was about to take action, Xiachen shouted, "Boss, Zifeng, don't do it, give us a chance." After Xiachen finished speaking, more than a dozen talismans shot out from his hands, bursting out beside the powerful monster beast emperor. As soon as the talisman burst open, endless flames and thunder swept through, and the monster beast emperor let out a scream. It was almost scorched by the power of thunder and fire. Long Chen was stunned. Isn't this power of thunder and fire the power of Huolinger and Leilinger? He, Brother Xiachen asked us for some source power to draw the talisman, and we gave it to him. I didn't expect Brother Xiachen's talisman to be so powerful. Huolinger giggled. At this moment, Long Chen suddenly understood that Xiachen, this guy, used the power of the origin of the two to depict the talisman, and with the power of the rune, the power of destruction of the two was amplified to the limit. Boom boom boom. Just when the demon race human sovereign suffered a big loss, Gu Yang was already holding a brand new spear, attacking it, and fighting recklessly for more than a dozen consecutive moves. Compared with the power of the monster beast human emperor, he is still far behind. unable to take it down in one fell swoop while it was severely injured by Xiachen. Come again, Gu Yang wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and roared, the vision behind his back vibrated, the power of dragon blood burned, and he rushed to the Demon Clan Emperor again. Buzz, just as everyone was fighting bloody battles, suddenly the entire island trembled slightly, and then a shocking breath radiated. As soon as that breath appeared, the aura of the powerful Demon Clan Emperor seemed so insignificant. Is this island alive? Long Chen was taken aback. Chapter 52:28 The whole island suddenly trembled, and the terrifying imperial aura rose into the sky, and that breath made Long Chen feel his soul tremble. Then Long Chen saw that the island was slowly drifting into the depths of the sea, and Long Chen expanded his consciousness. He was shocked to find that this huge island was actually sitting on the back of a giant tortoise. Boom! The sea trembled, the waves were terrifying, and the 4 huge claws swayed the sea water, setting off turbulent waves. At that moment, Long Chen and others were stunned. They had never seen such a huge creature. The island has a radius of millions of miles, and the endless buildings on the island were actually carried by the giant tortoise to swim to the deep sea. When the monster emperor who was besieged by Gu Yang and others saw the scene, he couldn't help but be shocked and angry. He issued shocking roar. Old tortoise, as the guardian beast of our clan, how can you escape and kill them quickly? However, the giant tortoise did not stop because of the human sovereign's roar, and moved slowly towards the deep sea. At the same time, an old voice came, Your ancestors were kind to me at the beginning. I promised your ancestors to protect your family for 30 million years. I have completed the task, and I overslept. I have guarded your family for 300,000 years, and everyone has been cleared. Already. Boom! As soon as the giant tortoise finished speaking, there was a loud noise, and half a huge chain appeared on the giant tortoise's back, locking it firmly on the 8 surrounding islands. Rude Jr., do you take me as your slave? When he saw the chains on his body, the giant tortoise was instantly furious, and his whole body trembled. Boom! With a loud bang, the chains on its body, along with the island on its back, shattered, and the terrifying power pressed the sea water and rushed in all directions. Back defense, Long Chen screamed, and at the same time he opened his big hands, opened his palms, and a crescent moon blade spurted out, chopped on the stormy waves, and the stormy waves were cut off by the crescent moon. This move is exactly the dragon bone evil. The trick that you passed on to Long Chen. But what shocked Long Chen was that this blow could easily smash the mountains and cut off the top of the waves, but it could not remove the shocking energy. Boom! Long Chen held the keel evil moon, shouted angrily, and slammed into the giant waves again. Long Chen was among them, and when he was hit by the huge wave, Long Chen was like a lonely boat in the turbulent waves. Long Chen was shocked. What level of existence is this giant tortoise? It didn't attack the crowd, but the aftermath nearly killed them. Boom! The aftermath was passed to the Dragon Blood Legion, and the Dragon Blood Warriors formed a hard block. Their formation was rushed away in an instant, and all the Dragon Blood Warriors spurted out a mouthful of blood. The other disciples behind the Dragon Blood Warriors were rushed out by the aftermath of the aftermath, scattered directly into the sky, and disappeared. However, fortunately, the power of the huge wave was continuously cut off by Long Chen, and then hit Long Chen's body. Long Chen endured huge power, and the rest of the power was borne by the Dragon Blood Warriors, and the remaining power is no longer fatal. When the disciples of the academy came back from the tour, from the horizon, they saw that the surrounding archipelagos were all wiped out. This is too scary. Guoran and others were stunned. What level of existence is that? Xia Chen's voice trembled, and he was obviously frightened. In front of the giant tortoise, the so-called human emperor was like dust. Respected human race powerhouse, it was an unintentional move just now. The old turtle did not intend to offend, please forgive me. At this moment, the old voice of the giant tortoise came from a distance. What surprised everyone was that the giant tortoise apologized to them, and listening to its tone, it seemed to be very afraid of everyone. Senior, what is your cultivation base? Long Chen shouted loudly. The old tortoise is incompetent and has lived in vain for endless years. Until now, he has not been able to break through the God Emperor and is stuck at the top of the 9 veins of the human emperor. The giant tortoise sighed. 9 meridians, human sovereign? Long Chen and others exclaimed, there are 9 veins in the human sovereign realm? Above the realm of human emperors is the emperor of gods. The giant tortoise suddenly stopped, and instead of continuing to swim towards the deep sea, it slowly turned around, and a huge head protruded out of the sea. Although everyone was already prepared, when the huge head came out of the water, everyone still felt endless shock. The head of the giant tortoise is like a dragon, with double horns. In the eyes, the air of chaos is flowing. When looking at its eyes, even Long Chen feels a scalp tingling. This old turtle is too strong, as if a single breath will kill them all. Respected human race powerhouse, the great descendant of 9 stars, do you have any other orders? If there is none, the old turtle will go to the depths of the great wilderness. In order to fulfill a promise, I wasted too much time here, and in retrospect, I seem to have fallen for them. The old turtle said respectfully to Long Chen. When it said the great 9-star descendant, Long Chen's heart trembled. Long Chen didn't use the power of the stars at all. It recognized his 9-star descendant at a glance. Obviously, it must have seen other 9-star descendants. So, the old turtle really lived endless years. Long Chen had a lot to ask, but when he opened his mouth, an unpleasant feeling made his heart throb, and he didn't say a word. Boss, this guy seems to be a little afraid of you. Would you like him to do me a favor and destroy the Brahma Pill Valley directly? Guoran secretly said to Long Chen. Guoran's idea is very good, but Long Chen can't do it. He won't ask others for help. In addition, he doesn't dare to have too much contact with this old turtle, because he knows that he can learn from the old turtle. There are many secrets in the body, but knowing these secrets is to bear the terrifying karma. And the person who bears the karma is not him, but everyone present. He may not be afraid of the karma, but it may kill others. There will be a later date. In the end, Long Chen didn't ask anything, just clenched his fists. The old turtle turned around slowly, and the huge body slowly swam into the deep sea until it disappeared, and everyone still did not recover from the shock. Senior, what is the vein of the emperor? Long Chen couldn't help asking Chenkuan Cauldron. Since you already know the name of the emperor, you don't have to worry about cause and effect, then I will tell you the mystery of the emperor's realm. Chenkuan Ding said. Chapter 52-29. Through the narration of Chenkuan Ding, the 9 heavenly veins and dragon chi merge into one, undergo a qualitative change, break the shackles, and advance to the emperor. And the power of the emperor, also known as the power of the emperor's veins, the emperor refers to the practitioners who have opened up an imperial vein. Unlike the dragon energy of the sky, the power of the imperial vein is transferred from the outside to the inside, and after entering the realm of the emperor, after cultivating an imperial vein, all living beings will no longer be restricted to the human form. Because they no longer comprehend the laws of the outside world, the advantages of the human form gradually disappear, and the powerhouses of the major races will gradually return to their own form, such as the giant tortoise, which has always appeared in its own form, because in this state under the shackles of the human form, its strength is the most powerful. However, Chenkuan Ding said that this giant tortoise has been sleeping here for endless years, and he doesn't know that the world has changed. The spiritual energy here is thin, and sleeping here will not only gain any benefits, but will consume the power of the source. Therefore, it has not made any progress at all here for so many years, so it said that it seems to have been deceived. So deep in the wilderness, is it suitable for it to practice? Long Chen's heart was beating wildly. If he said that, isn't there a lot of terrifying existence hidden in the depths of the wild? Yes, the imbalance of Emperor Heaven's energy makes this place unsuitable for a strong person like him to practice. Therefore here, the human emperor's realm is the ceiling, which cannot be crossed. Don't even think about condensing the 2 imperial veins, because the law does not allow. Chenkuan Ding said, Human sovereign realm is the ceiling? Long Chen's eyes rolled when he heard the news. At this time, Qian Kuan-ding reminded, "Don't think about destroying the old lair of Brahma. In fact, the 8 realms of Brahma is just an initial stronghold of Brahma, and destroying it first will not cause any loss to Brahma. In addition, the total area of the 8 realms of Brahma has the Dharma body of the great Brahma, and his Dharma body cannot be moved, but if you go, it is equivalent to throwing yourself into the net, and he will kill you in an instant. Don't say it's you, even that giant tortoise has no resistance in front of Brahma's Dharma body." Dharma body? Long Chen's heart was beating wildly. No wonder Bai Lishan's expression changed when he wanted to attack the 8 realms of Brahma. Obviously, Bai Ledian knew the existence of the law bodies and how terrifying the law bodies were. Now that your identity as a descendant of 9 stars has been exposed, it's already a blessing that the Brahma didn't come to you, but you must not send it to the door yourself. Qian Kuan-ding said. "Senior, how is Brahma's recovery now?" Long Chen asked tentatively. Qian Kuan-ding pondered for a while, and seemed to be thinking about cause and effect. After a while, he said, "It's hard to say, but judging from the fluctuation of his belief power, he should be in a critical stage of recovery, otherwise, he will not even absorb those mixed belief powers. This signal tells us that he has not recovered yet, but it also tells us that he will recover soon, so there is really not much time left for you." Qian Kuan-ding said. Thinking of the Brahma's sneak attack on Dan Emperor, and Dan Emperor's successive reincarnations died in his hands, the hatred in Long Chen's heart rages wildly. However, Long Chen also clearly knows that the Brahma is an existence standing on the top of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. With his current strength, he has no ability to fight against him. However, you don't have to worry too much, we still have time, and we have to go step by step. Qian Kuan-ding was afraid that Long Chen was under too much pressure, so he hurriedly said. Long Chen nodded, expressing that he understood that some things cannot be rushed. Long Chen glanced at the battlefield, and the giant tortoise almost destroyed half of the world with one blow. Nothing was left. Long Chen and others immediately rushed to the next sect. As a result, this sect was another human race, named Tianhe Valley, and the valley owner was also a strong human emperor. When Long Chen and others arrived, the valley master had already bound a half-step human emperor and held him outside the door, so he didn't need Long Chen to count. Obviously, the news of these sects is too well informed, and the news of the demise of Xiaoyao sect must have spread. As soon as Long Chen arrived, they already knew Long Chen's intention and directly sold the masters who participated in the raid on Lingxiao Academy. After all, it is better to die alone than to destroy the entire sect. Even they dare not let that person escape, for fear that Long Chen will destroy their sect in a rage. The man was executed on the spot, and everyone in Tianhe Valley knelt on the ground. I have to say that this valley owner is quite smart. In this way, even if Long Chen has a fire in his heart, he can't let it out. After executing the man, Long Chen immediately took people to other sects, and as a result, other sects followed Tianhe Valley and sent people out directly. They attacked more than a dozen forces in a row. Except for the 2 monsters who were extremely stubborn and were uprooted by the Dragon Blood Warriors, the other forces directly surrendered. As a result, Long Chen was too lazy to continue. Obviously, they all obeyed. From their fearful eyes, Long Chen knew that his goal had been achieved. He was going to leave the academy to go to the great wilderness. Yu Qingxian was left in the academy. Although the lord of the palace was in charge, Long Chen was still worried. He wants to use bloody means to frighten this group of juniors, so that they don't dare to have any involvement in Lingxiao Academy. Only in this way can Long Chen leave with confidence. Long Chen spoke directly and asked the rest of the sects to send the heads of the strong men who raided Lingxiao Academy within half a month, otherwise, just wait for the sect to be destroyed. After Long Chen put down his words, he took people directly and returned to the academy in a mighty manner. This time, they did not teleport, but just flew in the void, flying past the gates of the mountains, looking down at the cities. Looking at the eyes of countless strong people looking up at them, with awe and fear. At that moment, the disciples of the academy were excited. They looked at the figure in front of the team, dressed in black robes, with long hair flying like a god of war, and their hearts were full of pride and pride. How lucky is it to be in the same era as such a person? Of course, as a companion is lucky, but as an enemy, I am afraid that I will not think so. When the Dragon Blood Legion brought everyone back to the academy, the disciples who followed Long Chen felt as if they had completed a rebirth, and the spirit of the whole person was different. After returning to the academy, Long Chen asked the Dragon Blood Legion to stand by, and he came to the Danyuan himself and saw Yu Qingxian, who was closing his eyes in front of the statue. The breath is getting more and more similar. Long Chen looked at Yu Qingxian silently, with endless tenderness in his eyes. After a while, he turned and left. He didn't disturb Yu Qingxian, he just wanted to take a good look at her. When Long Chen left, Yu Qingxian suddenly opened her eyes. She looked at the back of Long Chen's departure, opened her lips several times, and finally made no sound, and the tears had blurred her eyes. When Long Chen returned to the square, Bai Shishir was already ready to go. Although she was still a little weak at this time, her eyes were bright, and she was obviously very excited about this trip. Departure, target, Longyu. Chapter 52:30. When Long Chen and the Dragon Blood Warriors walked out of Lingshao Academy, everyone watched them leave. Whether it was the disciples of the main courtyard or the disciples of the first branch, they felt a little uncomfortable. They know that the goal of the Dragon Blood Legion this time is directly at the Great Wilderness. The Great Wilderness hides countless secrets, and the dangers are endless. There are unknowns and hope there, and the greatest secrets in the 9 days and 10 places are hidden. They also wanted to go, but they knew that they didn't have the qualifications. Even the powerhouses who had awakened the Destiny Roulette wouldn't dare to say that they wanted to go with the Dragon Blood Warriors. Because they know that only when they reach their level are they qualified to go to the Great Wilderness. If they go, they will only drag others down. Long Ziwei and the others watched the Dragon Blood Legion leave. He clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. I will work hard to cultivate, even if I can't catch up with them. I can't be thrown so that I can't even see a shadow. The disciples present were full of admiration for Long Chen, but they were also deeply unwilling. They had the opportunity to meet such an unparalleled powerhouse, but they did not have the qualifications to follow him. Before they met Long Chen, they were also invincible arrogances and were called geniuses. After seeing Long Chen, they understood what a frog at the bottom of a well was. From Long Chen, they saw the wider world, and they had the clearest understanding of genius. They wanted to follow Long Chen to see the wider world, but unfortunately, they did not have that qualification. In the back of the academy, in the Danyuan, Yu Qingxian stood tall and her eyes were full of tears. She looked at the direction where Long Chen and others were going away, and her voice was choked. I know you want to protect me, but I also want to protect you, the person I love the most. Wait for me, I want to get my power back. Yu Qingxian turned her head to look at the statue. Her eyes flashed with divine brilliance. At the same time, the exquisite blood magnolia in the statue's hand quietly bloomed, and the divine brilliance flowed. Yu Qingxian's figure disappeared in an instant. She actually entered among the exquisite blood magnolias. Boom! The flying boat roared out, watching the academy gradually become small, and everyone was very excited. They knew that what they would see next would be a brand new world, a world full of dangers and hidden treasures. This time, in addition to the entire Dragon Blood Legion, there are 3 more people: Mu Qingyun, Luo Bing and Luo Ning. Luo Bing and Luo Ning are especially excited, because they know that Long Chen is going to take them to find the Purple Blood Clan. After being separated from the tribe for so long, they are worried about them all the time in their hearts, but the 2 are well-behaved and sensible, and they never dare to show it in front of Long Chen, for fear of affecting Long Chen's emotions. Now, Long Chen brought them out, and the 2 were so excited that they almost didn't call them out. Guoran, this flying boat of yours is an antique. Now our Dragon Blood Legion can be regarded as a decent existence. Can we get a flying boat that can pull the wind in the future? Inside the flying boat, Gu Yang said with some dissatisfaction. There's no way. I'm so busy every day that I hit the back of the head with my feet, and now I'm busy designing our new armor and weapons. I can't wait to break it up into 2 days to use it. How can I have time to manage this flying boat? Boss Gu Yang, please feel wronged. Come on. Guoran said helplessly. This flying boat is an immortal artifact-level flying boat. It has long been unsuitable for the status of the Dragonblood Legion, but as he said, he is really busy now, and he doesn't even have time to take a breath. It's okay for me to be wronged. The key is how wise the boss is. It's really inappropriate for you to let him sit in such a flying boat. Guyang said, I know too, but there's nothing I can do about it. Guoran spread his hands. Actually, there is a way. At this time, Mu Qingyun suddenly interrupted. Wow, Qingyun beauty, what can you do? Guoran and the others heard Mu Qingyun say there was a way, and their eyes lit up. No matter how broken the flying boat is, as long as you can find someone to pull the boat. Mu Qingyun covered his mouth and smiled. Snapped, Guoran slapped his thigh. Yes, let's grab a powerful monster to pull the car. Isn't that just pulling the wind? It's better to be a monster of the Emperor level. Ha, Qingyun beauty, you are so smart. But where can I find a human Emperor level monster? Li Qi couldn't help but ask. It depends on luck. Don't worry, as long as the boss is there, this journey will definitely not be peaceful. Guoran pointed to the front of the flying boat and smiled. At the front of the flying boat, there is a separate quiet room with the best view. There are only Bai Shishir and Long Chen in the quiet room. What are you laughing at? Since getting on the flying boat, Bai Shishir has been looking at Long Chen. His eyes are full of smiles. Long Chen has been seen too much, and he can't help laughing. I'm so happy to be alone with you. Bai Shishir looked at Long Chen. The white cheeks were full of satisfaction and warmth, the eyes were as smooth as water, and the autumn waves flowed, which made people feel pity. Looking at Bai Shishi's appearance, Long Chen couldn't help but feel a pain in his heart. Once upon a time, the beautiful girl of this academy, who was arrogant, has become so satisfied now. Long Chen couldn't help stretching his arms and hugged Bai Shishir tightly into his arms. Bai Shishir trembled, feeling Long Chen's powerful arms, warm heart, listening to Long Chen's heartbeat. At that moment, she couldn't help choking. At this time, she felt that Long Chen belonged to her alone. I'm sorry, am I being too selfish? I'm not jealous of Sister Qingxian, but I can't help it. I like to be alone with you. Bai Shishir choked, tears already wet Long Chen's clothes. Hearing Bai Shishi's words, Long Chen's heart hurt even more. It's me who should say sorry. If there is reincarnation, I hope that in every reincarnation, I will only meet one of you, and I will spoil you with all my love. Long Chen recalled many confidants, each of whom was deeply and righteous to himself, and it was difficult for them to repay their kindness if they were crushed to pieces. Hearing Long Chen's words, Bai Shishir smiled and smiled very happily, because in Long Chen's words, it proved that she has the same status in Long Chen's heart as Yu Qingxian and others. Just this, she has already totally satisfied. Roar. Just when Long Chen and Bai Shishir were in a sweet relationship, when you were in love with me, a shocking roar shook the world, and a behemoth stopped the flying boat. It was a rhinoceros with a pair of golden horns and covered with golden scales. It was like a mountain and stood upright. When the flying boat broke into its territory, it roared, opened its mouth, and burst into a golden flame. Spray from a flying boat. Long Chen couldn't help being furious when he heard the voice, but before he could take action, Bai Shishir had already killed him immediately. Chapter 5231. Bai Shishir was enjoying a rare alone time with Long Chen. Now that the human emperor-level monster was blocking the way, she was instantly angry and killed it immediately. Buzz, in the golden wheel of destiny behind Bai Shishir, a statue of a goddess emerged, and the goddess was exactly what she looked like. When the statue of the goddess came out, the whole world was covered with golden light. Bai Shishiyu stretched out his hand and a golden shield appeared. He ignored the attack of the golden rhinoceros and smashed it directly at its huge head. Boom! With a loud bang, the Wanli shield was broken, but the golden rhino was also shaken by Bai Shishi's golden shield. Buzz! Bai Shishir blocked the blow of the golden bull. The golden long sword in her jade hand swayed, the long sword slashed through the void, and a golden sword energy slashed across the sky, heading straight for the golden rhinoceros. When Bai Shishir drew out the sword, the statue of the goddess behind her quickly lit up, and the golden radiance lit up the universe. As far as the eye could see, everything was covered with a layer of gold. Mountains, rivers, trees, flowers and plants are all plated with a layer of gold, and people seem to be in a world of gold. At that moment, even Long Chen was startled. Long Chen did not expect that the last time he was injured, the stimulation to Bai Shishir was so great. Her vision became clearer and Jin Zhili became more and more powerful. At this time, compared with the Academy War, the strength has not been improved by how much. Bai Shishir slashed down with a sword, like a golden goddess. The pressure of this blow made even Long Chen feel numb in his scalp, and the others were even more startled by Bai Shishir's attack. The golden rhinoceros saw Bai Shishir's sword slashed, and roared again. The scales on its whole body lit up, the golden horns glowed, and it took Bai Shishir's sword with its single horn. Boom! With a loud bang, the ground exploded, and the golden rhino tumbled out, smashing into countless mountains along the way, and finally laying in a deep ditch with blood overflowing all over his body, staining the ground red. Buzz, Bai Shishir defeated the golden rhino with one sword, raised the long sword, and was about to take the opportunity to kill it, but was stopped by Long Chen, and many more. Long Chen stopped Bai Shishir and led the crowd towards the golden rhinoceros. At this time, the golden rhinoceros was covered in blood, struggling to get up and looking at everyone in horror. Guoran and others opened their mouths wide. They didn't expect that Bai Shishir was injured once, and now it seems that he has changed into a person and is so powerful that the human emperor-level monster was hit hard by her. Respected human race powerhouse, I have no intention of offending you, and please forgive me for my recklessness and let me live. The golden rhino spit out words and pleaded with everyone. Guoran and the others were stunned for a moment. This golden rhino is very aware of current affairs. Bai Xiaola sneered, I didn't mean to offend us. Why did you kill us? If you can beat us, will you let us live? How did you get injured? Long Chen looked at the golden rhinoceros. Returning to the respected strong man of the human race, I was injured by a black-scaled evil flood dragon and had to escape from the great wasteland to heal. When you passed by, I meant to scare you. I didn't really want to hurt you, and I was seriously injured, so I wasn't suitable for fierce battles. The golden rhino said. Hearing what the golden rhino said, everyone noticed that the golden rhino's breath was very unstable, and it seemed that it had been seriously injured and was still in the healing stage. Everyone suddenly realized that it was no wonder that this golden bull's breath was so terrifying, but it was defeated by Bai Shishir's sword, and it turned out to be seriously injured. The most important thing is that this golden bull is no longer human, that is to say, it has broken away from the shackles of the emperor and entered the next stage. You have a trace of dragon blood on your body, which is also considered fate. We won't kill you, you can go. Long Chen said, because Long Chen felt a trace of dragon blood on the golden rhinoceros. Obviously, this golden bull has dragon blood. Although I don't know which branch of the dragon clan it is, Long Chen didn't feel the aura of tyranny on this golden bull, which means that it is still different from ordinary monsters and intends to let it go. The golden rhino couldn't help but be overjoyed when he heard it, and hurriedly thanked, Thank you for your kindness of not killing. The golden rhino was about to leave after speaking, but was stopped by Guoran. Stop, wait a minute. When Guoran shouted, the golden rhino suddenly became nervous. It turned around a little uneasy and said, Excuse me, do you have any other orders? Long Chen looked at Guoran and didn't know what this kid was going to do. He just listened to Guoran. Brother Niu, you are seriously injured and need to be rehabilitated urgently. Didn't I tell you that you have lived for so long? Don't you even understand what chance is? You must know that the person in front of you is a peerless genius of both Danwu and Wushu. If you have his pills to help you, you will be back to normal in a short time, and even better than the past. You are sure to miss this opportunity. Is it a chance? Really? The golden rhino widened his eyes. That said, everyone has dragon blood flowing in their bodies. We disdain to lie to you. My boss is cold on the outside and hot on the inside. As long as you ask him, he will basically not refuse you. As Guoran spoke, he observed his words and expressions. Seeing that the golden rhino was about to speak, he hurriedly rushed to the front and said, Of course, as a strong man above the emperor, you are also a person with a face and face. If you ask for help, you can't open your mouth. You are right. The golden rhino wanted to ask Long Chen for pills, but when Guoran said this, it really couldn't open its mouth. Our flying boat is running out of power. If someone is willing to help us pull it, I think my boss will be very happy. Guoran touched his chin and looked at the flying boat behind him. I will. The golden rhino hurriedly said, for fear of missing this opportunity. Long Chen was speechless for a while. Guoran actually wanted to fool the golden rhino to pull the cart for them, and let a human emperor-level monster pull the cart. This guy really dared to think. Respected human race powerhouse, can you really heal me? If it is true, let alone pulling a cart, even if I sign a slave contract, I am willing. The golden rhino said. It would be even better if it was signed my boss. Guoran was overjoyed. Shut up. Long Chen glared at Guoran. This guy is now shriveled, and after a few words, this golden rhinoceros is still relatively simple. Is it a bit too much to fool such a simple guy? Come here, let me check your injury. After Long Chen finished speaking, the golden bull shrank to only about 10 feet, lying in front of Long Chen, Long Chen's big hand holding its head, soul power poured into its body. Buzz, suddenly a terrifying force rushed straight to Long Chen. Long Chen was shocked by the terrifying power, causing a faint pain in his chest, and his heart could not help beating wildly. The power of the dragon. Chapter 5232. What is the situation? How can you have the power of the dragon in your body? Long Chen looked at the golden rhinoceros in surprise. The most shocking thing about Long Chen is that in addition to the power of the dragon, it also has a trace of the power of belief in the great Brahma, which is too shocking. Moreover, the power of belief is entangled with the power of the dark dragon, forming an energy similar to the highly poisonous, constantly corroding the flesh and soul of the golden rhinoceros. When the power of Long Chen's soul was injected into its body, the energy of the fusion of the power of faith and the power of the dark dragon bounced off the power of Long Chen in an instant, and almost didn't vomit blood from the shock of Long Chen. Long Chen explained its situation again, and the golden rhinoceros was also frightened. It said that it had been cultivating on the periphery of the great wilderness. In its words, with its strength, it did not dare to enter the depths of the great wilderness. It and the black-scaled evil flood dragon are old enemies, but their strength is half a caddy, and no one can do anything about it. But just a few hundred years ago, the black-scaled evil flood dragon suddenly launched a surprise attack on it. The black-scaled evil flood dragon fought against it like crazy, but both sides were injured. The golden rhino pierced the opponent's tail, and the opponent's fangs also pierced into its body. However, after both were injured, the golden rhinos thought that each of them would have to cultivate for a while. However, within a few years, the black-scaled evil flood dragon came to the door again. To his shock, the black-scaled evil flood dragon's injuries had completely recovered. And it always felt that something was wrong with its body, and its recovery was extremely slow. In this battle, the golden rhino was not the opponent of the black-scaled evil dragon at all. It was only after escaping here that he got rid of the pursuit of the black-scaled evil dragon. He rested in peace here for hundreds of years. As a result, not only did his injury not improve, but his body became weaker and weaker. Boss, I'm afraid there is something strange about this. Guoran said solemnly. Long Chen nodded. There is indeed something strange, a lone monster, and it has the power of the dragon and the power of faith of the great Brahma in the body, which is too strange. By the way, do you know where Longyu is? Long Chen asked. Longyu is not far from my original site, only 2 days away. Golden Rhino said. It's not far from the dragon domain, with the power of the dragon and the power of belief in the great Brahma? Long Chen suddenly felt something was wrong. It's hard to say. Guoran and others were startled. They thought of a terrible thing. Big Brahma's hand stretches long enough. Even those loose cultivators are not spared. Let's go. We have to go to the dragon territory immediately, otherwise the dragon territory may be in danger. Long Chen said. Boss, Do you mean that the black-scaled evil dragon is controlled by the Minglong clan? Guoran said. I can't be sure, but this possibility cannot be ruled out. By the way, do you have a name? Long Chen said to the golden rhinoceros. I don't have a name. Ever since my parents gave birth to me, I've been alone, and I don't need a name. The golden rhino shook his head. Then we will call you Huang Shi. Long Chen said, Huang Shi, the power of the dragon in your body is entangled with the power of belief in Brahma, forming a strange poison that has invaded your flesh and blood, meridians and even the soul. I have never encountered such a situation, so I will try to cure you step by step. This process may not be smooth, it will take a little time, you need a little more patience. However, I can assure you of one thing, I can definitely solve this poison, but I can't guarantee how long it will take to completely solve it. No problem, I can afford it. When he heard that Long Chen could detoxify, Huang Shi immediately thanked him. Over the years, it has been recovering from injuries, but it has become weaker and weaker, and almost collapsed. Now, Long Chen has become its only hope. Huang Shi, can you transform into a human figure? Guoran asked. Huang Shi hurriedly shook his head and said, I have gone through too many twists and turns from a human sovereign to a dual-patterned human sovereign, from the human form to the real one. Now that I am injured by the black-scaled evil dragon, my realm has fallen, and the second imperial vein is already showing signs of collapse. If I turn into a human form, the second imperial vein will collapse in an instant, and I will be beaten back to the first imperial vein. Everything has to start all over again. When everyone heard this, they couldn't help being stunned. This Huang Rhino was actually a Shuangmai emperor, and such a strong man could only hang out in the periphery of the great wilderness, and he didn't dare to enter the depths of the great wilderness. How terrifying the depths of the great wilderness would be. Long Chen pondered for a moment, took out a dozen medicinal pills, and asked Huang Shi to take them in order. When the dozen medicinal pills were eaten, Huang Shi suddenly became refreshed, and the sluggish breath began to recover at a speed visible to the naked eye. After a full hour, not only all the damage by Shirshir caused it, but even the dark diseases in its body were repaired a lot. Feeling the change in the body, the huge body of the yellow rhino crawls on the ground, thanking Long Chen with the unique etiquette of the golden rhinoceros. Since you know Longyu, then lead the way for us. Don't worry too much, walk slowly, I will help you slowly adjust along the way. I hope that when you reach Longyu, your strength can be fully recovered. Long Chen rode. Boom! After Long Chen finished speaking, Guoran waved his hand, and a golden chariot appeared like a mountain. When the golden chariot appeared, even Long Chen was startled. This golden chariot had a terrible aura. It turned out to be a precious human sovereign soldier. You must know that the chariot of the emperor's soldiers is a treasure. The materials and manpower consumed by a chariot are equivalent to thousands of ordinary human emperor's soldiers. Ordinary sects can't build such a chariot at all. I can't even afford this kind of chariot. When did you have such a chariot? Long Chen and the others looked at the chariot and couldn't help asking. Guoran smiled and said, Of course it belongs to the first branch, but this chariot is a semi-finished product, and there are many unfinished parts, so it cannot fly in the air. When I had time, I planned to complete the accessories with Xiachen, so that we would have a super chariot. When Brahma Pill Valley raided the academy, unfortunately, I haven't thoroughly researched this chariot, so I can't start it, otherwise once I start it, that day I can kill all the offenders without a fight. Speaking of which, Guoran had a proud look on his face. Obviously, he was very confident in this golden chariot. Guoran looked at Huang Shi and said, This chariot is a top-level human emperor's divine weapon, and it will not humiliate your identity. Please take us to Longyu. At this time, Huang Shi had already admired Long Chen to the ground. The poison in his body finally had hope. He just pulled a car. It didn't care at all. A golden rhino was pulling a golden chariot like a high mountain. The terrifying aura made the world tremble. Countless monsters sensed the aura and fled one after another. Chapter 5233. When Long Chen and the others stepped onto the chariot, they discovered that the chariot was a world of its own, which was equivalent to a small training place, with functions such as a practice room, a casting room, and an alchemy room. The place to live is even more luxurious. Long Chen and others entered the chariot, just like a leopard entering the city. This is too extravagant. After entering the chariot, everyone was in a splendid hall. Gu Yang couldn't help saying, "It is indeed a bit extravagant. I have learned from Dean Qingkong." At that time, they were trapped in the small world and could not get out, but they did not feel any sense of crisis. People's hearts became impetuous. The dean at that time was a person who liked luxury very much, so he ordered someone to build him an unprecedented chariot. This chariot is not only unparalleled in combat power, but also in unprecedented luxury. At that time, all the craftsmen of the academy were gathered together to build it. It took more than 3,000 years, but it was still unfinished. Now this chariot is just a semi-finished product. Later, a civil strife broke out in the academy, and the position of the dean changed hands. As a result, many people participated in the internal fight, and many people died. Among the people who died, there were many craftsmen who built the golden chariot. Lack of important craftsmen, people found that the chariot could not be built at all. Because the important core part is in the hands of those craftsmen, the most important thing is that the blueprint of the chariot was gone at that time. If you want to continue to build the chariot, you need a complete blueprint. But the drawings are gone. If you want to continue building, you need to dismantle the chariot and then reassemble it step by step to restore the original drawings. And this is just a possibility. No one can guarantee that if the chariot is dismantled, it is guaranteed that a complete blueprint can be researched. After all, this chariot is not a building block. It can be disassembled without damage. After dismantling, most of the parts are useless. In this way, it is more laborious than building a new chariot, so the golden chariot was put on hold. Later, after several twists and turns, the chariot blueprint appeared again, but it was already hundreds of thousands of years later, but at this time the blueprint appeared, and it was useless. Because most of the craftsmen who could build the Emperor's divine armament are gone, the inheritance of casting this item is almost cut off. Because they are trapped in a small world, there is no war, and the loss of weapons is very small. Therefore, the weapons in the old treasure house are enough for them to squander. Therefore, casting is not valued in the academy. Therefore, when I got to Guoran, I got the chariot and the complete blueprint. Seeing that no one in the entire academy could cast the human emperor's magic weapon, Guoran didn't move a single weapon in the treasure house, just took it away. Some of the ingredients, and a few semi-finished products, they won't be able to use them anyway. But for this golden chariot, Guoran and Xia Chen are full of expectations, because this chariot is just a rough embryo with infinite potential. As long as you spend some time studying and perfecting it, it will exert infinite combat power. As soon as they entered the chariot, everyone was very excited and began to visit the chariot. This chariot was divided into two forms. One was a normal form, which was used to drive the road, but the part that drives the chariot to speed has not yet been built. Therefore it cannot fly independently. The other is the battle form. Once it enters the battle form, the entire chariot will change into 7 different battle forms. One is more terrifying than the other. It can be attacked and defended. When Guoran finished introducing it to everyone, even Longchen couldn't help but sigh. The first academy is so rich, this chariot is too extravagant. In the chariot, there are tens of thousands of rooms alone, and in each room, you can use the formation method to have a panoramic view of everything outside. A huge golden chariot, more than 7,000 people came in, but it still looked empty, showing how big the interior of the chariot was. Of course, there is a top-level room in the chariot, which is the exclusive place of the dean, and Long Chen and Bai Shishir are arranged here. When entering this room, Long Chen couldn't help but be shocked again. A room with a space of dozens of miles inside, with various arrays blessing, whatever function you want, there is any function. The golden rhino in front walked slowly, and it seemed to be walking very slowly, but the surrounding landscape was rapidly retreating, and the sound of the golden chariot breaking through the sky resounded throughout the world. In fact, it was much faster than the flying boat they originally rode in. And most importantly, more stable and more comfortable. Borrow the light with the Dean, this chariot is so comfortable, and it is the first time in my life that it is so extravagant. Baishishir looked at the unobstructed beauty outside, stroked every exquisite furnishings in the room, and couldn't help sighing. Because of luxury, the academy has fallen. Crisis creates the strong creates peace, peace creates extravagance, and extravagance creates crisis. Hey, the cycle goes back and forth, we are always in one of them and we can't escape. Long Chen with a wry smile. Hearing what Long Chen said, Baishishir was stunned, and then his beautiful eyes were full of admiration. Long Chen's casual sentence can be thought-provoking, and his eyes can always find places that others can't see. As a person of the same era, Baishishir has never seen such a wise person as Long Chen. Baishishir looked at Long Chen, and a smile gradually appeared on his face. Perhaps, this is what attracted her to Long Chen. No matter where he goes, no matter what kind of genius he is, he can't hide his unique brilliance and let people see him at a glance. Shirshir, your move today is amazing. Long Chen looked at Baishishir and couldn't help but praised. Today Long Chen was also completely conquered by Baishishi's sword, this sword too tough. Hearing Long Chen's praise, the smile on Baishishi's face became even stronger. This injury is not a bad thing for me, as you said before, only when you are infinitely close to death can you comprehend the true meaning of life. Only by stimulating the instinct of life can you become stronger faster. Actually, I'd rather you don't become stronger. The sword you were stabbed hurts more than 1,000 swords. Recalling the scene of Baishishi's injury, Long Chen's heart still aches. Baishishir looked at Long Chen's affectionate eyes and heartache, and her heart was filled with warmth. At that moment, she felt that it was worth dying for Long Chen. Shirshir, your body has not fully recovered. Rest well, we enter the dragon domain, there may be a vicious battle to fight. Long Chen said, didn't you say that with the white dragon family in Longyu, it should be smooth? Baishishir said, that was before, and now the situation may have changed. From Huang Zai's body, I saw something bad. Long Chen said solemnly. Baishishir seemed to understand something when he heard it, so he obediently went to meditate in the magic circle on the side and began to heal. I have to continue to comprehend the 8-star battle body. Long Chen took a deep breath and began to devour the medicinal pill, and then began to retreat. Chapter 5234 Long Chen swallowed an elixir, and the star C in his dantian trembled slightly. If he didn't look carefully, he couldn't see any reaction. Long Chen couldn't help but let out a sigh. I thought that I could use the power of the robbery to condense the 8-star battle body in one fell swoop, but I didn't expect that only a semi-finished product was condensed. Long Chen knew that the consumption of the 8-star battle body was huge, but he didn't expect it to be even bigger than he imagined. It was simply a bottomless pit. Today, the 8-star battle body is just a prototype, and it is still growing. The last time the 8-star battle body was summoned, Long Chen felt the power that even he was afraid of. Especially when the starry sky came into the world and covered 9 days, Long Chen seemed to be connected to the entire starry sky and merged with them. However, he felt that he was extremely small, like a fish in the sea. Although he was the only fish in the entire sea, he could only spit out a small bubble when he had the sea. There is no sea, but he can only spit out a small bubble to attack others. This is too uncomfortable for Long Chen. And this time, the complete 8-star battle body, the so-called human emperor powerhouse, is not enough to see. It stands to reason that Long Chen should be in high spirits, but no one knows how much Long Chen has been hit. Fortunately, when he was hit, Kiel Shiyue gave him great encouragement and comfort, which also led to him not rushing to practice the 8 stars to fight for his life. After all, the Dragon Bone Evil Moon and the Great Brahma Sutra are also huge reliances on Long Chen, so that he has more time to slowly practice the 8 stars battle body. When the pills were swallowed by Long Chen, 8 stars appeared behind Long Chen, but the 8 stars at this time were all illusions, the projections of the stars in its body, and would not release the power. Each of the 8 stars is the size of a handicap and appears behind Long Chen. However, these stars are very rough. As Long Chen devours the medicinal pill, the divine radiance overflows from the endless sea of stars, nourishing the 8 stars. Above each star, the rough surface begins to gradually become smooth, but this process is very slow. Fortunately, the power of Tianhua and Tianlei was assisted before. Otherwise, if you want to condense the 8-star battle body, even if it is a prototype, you don't know that you have to wait until the year of the monkey and the horse month. Long Chen secretly rejoiced. Long Chen swallowed the pills one by one, all of which were made by Qiankuan Cauldron and Huolinger, and they were already piled up like a mountain. For the pill, Long Chen has already handed it over to Qiankuan Ding. If it wasn't because Huolinger had to digest the power of heavenly fire in his body, and Qiankuan Ding also had to digest and absorb the power of belief, otherwise the refined pill would still need to be digested. Qiankuan Cauldron not only refined a large number of Niechong Dan, but also refined a large number of holy pills. These holy pills are Immortal Golden Pill, Saint Golden Pill, Holy King Golden Pill, Human Saint Golden Pill, Earth Sacred Golden Pill, and Heavenly Sacred Pill. Jin Dan, corresponding to the 6 immortal realms respectively. Before the Dragonblood warriors, they all relied on Yu Qingxian to provide medicinal pills. Most of their cultivation bases have reached the middle stage of immortality and are about to enter the later stage. It can be said that the cultivation speed of the Dragonblood warriors is astonishingly fast. The most important thing is that after they fuse the Dragon Soul, they don't have to worry about the instability of their realm. As long as there are enough medicinal pills, their improvement speed will not slow down. Boom, Long Chen was concentrating on refining the medicinal power, and suddenly his body trembled slightly. Long Chen was surprised and happy. He thought that the 8 stars had been completed before he knew it. What he didn't expect was that he swallowed too many medicinal pills, causing the realm to break through to immortality. A heavy day. Seeing that the 8 stars basically did not change, Long Chen sighed helplessly. Okay, it seems that you don't need to eat the Immortal Golden Pill, just eating the Niechong Pill can passively improve the realm, but I don't know, in breaking through the Holy Pill. In the realm, can you reach consummation? Long Chen continued to practice, and Bai Shishir was also concentrating on healing. I saw the golden radiance flowing around her body, and her vision seemed to be evolving automatically. In the wheel of destiny behind her, the figure of the goddess became clearer and clearer. Except for Guoran and Xiaqin, everyone in the entire Dragonblood Legion is in retreat. Guoran is beating and banging in his builder room, busy with ding 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 ding. Xiaqin walked dragons and snakes in a clean room and kept drawing talismans. There were hundreds of different materials on the chopping board, and the colors were different. The ground was full of all kinds of scrap talismans. Obviously, Xiaqin is sculpting more advanced talismans, otherwise the failure rate would not be so high. The entire chariot has become a training ground for everyone. The golden rhino pulled the golden chariot and whizzed past. Even if they passed the territory of the emperor and monster, when they felt the pressure of the golden chariot, they could only growl to show it. Warning, but dare not attack. Time passed little by little, and every 3 days, Long Chen would check the condition of the golden rhinoceros and give it some medicinal pills to suppress the power of the dragon and the power of faith in it. After 9 days, the golden bull was full of energy, and could no longer sense the power of the dragon and the power of faith, and was even more grateful to Long Chen. However, after its injury was healed, it did not leave Long Chen, and still diligently pulled the golden chariot forward until the 15th day, when Long Chen stopped Huangxi. Respected human race powerhouse, there are still 3 days to go to Longyu. Why did you stop me? Huangxi asked. To stop you, there is a good thing to tell you. After several trials, I have removed the impurities of the power of the dragon and the power of faith, and sealed its essence. Now that your body has recovered almost, I think it should be able to withstand its power, and I am going to release it. In this way, I believe that your strength will return to its former peak in an instant. Long Chen said, You mean I can go back to the realm of the Shuangmai Emperor again? The golden rhino's voice trembled with excitement. If it is a strong human race, it will be called Shuangmai Human Sovereign, but if it belongs to a monster, it will call itself Shuangmai Sovereign, because their future cultivation will no longer be bound by human form and return to their essence. The golden rhino was poisoned by the power of the dragon and the power of faith for many years. It was miserable. Long Chen removed the poison, and it was already ecstatic. Now Long Chen said that he wanted to restore it to its former peak strength. Trust your ears. If this sentence was said by someone else, it would definitely not believe it, but if Long Chen said it, it would not have the slightest doubt, and the whole body was shaking uncontrollably with excitement. Just in case, he'll give you a few golden pills for protecting the meridians first, lest your meridians be damaged. After Long Chen finished speaking, he fed Huang Shi 6 golden pills. Then he put a fist-sized black medicinal pill into Huang Zai's mouth, and Huang Shi swallowed the black medicinal pill without any hesitation. Boom! When the black elixir entered his stomach, Huang Rhino's body swelled rapidly, and the vast qi and blood was like a tsunami, shaking the surrounding mountains into powder in an instant. Chapter 5235 Roar. The golden rhino let out an earth-shattering roar. Its whole body trembled, its body swelled wildly, and its violent blood almost burst its body. Such a huge movement shocked Guoran and others, and they all looked out through the golden chariot. Long Chen stood in the void, with the circle of gods circulating behind him and 8 stars flickering. At this time, he had summoned the 8-star battle body. Only in the state of the 8-star battle body could he withstand such a terrifying power. Pressure. Boom! The golden rhino howled in pain. It was obviously suffering from unprecedented pain. It struggled and rolled with all its might, with blood oozing from the corners of its mouth, nostrils, eyes, and ears, and it looked extremely terrifying. The boss doesn't want to eat beef, let's kill it. Bai Xiaole couldn't help but be shocked when he saw this scene. As soon as Bai Xiaole's words fell, the little fox slapped him on the head. If you can't speak, just keep your mouth shut. It doesn't matter if you get beaten up, don't implicate me. Boom, boom, boom. The golden rhino was struggling in pain. It suddenly opened its mouth wide, and a divine light shot out, plowing the ground into a bottomless ditch, and the mountains and ravines were pierced by a single blow. The terrifying power made Guoran and the others numb their scalps. With such a terrifying blow, if they hit the chariot and the chariot did not turn on its protection, all of them would be killed in one blow. Boom! The head of the golden rhino suddenly lifted, shattering the void in an instant, forming a huge black hole, which was venting its power frantically. And Long Chen stood in the void, allowing the golden rhino to explode wildly. He resisted the terrifying pressure, like a rock, motionless. The golden rhinoceros tossed the incense stick for a whole time before gradually calming down, and the world that could be seen by the naked eye had been tossed beyond recognition. Many thanks to the respected strongman of the human race. I will never forget your great kindness and virtue. Even if I am your servant for the rest of my life, I am willing. The golden rhino was lying on the ground, panting heavily, but his tone was extremely respectful. Long Chen released the energy in its body, and its imperial veins were instantly flushed. The huge power made it extremely painful, and it instinctively attacked randomly to release its power. However, even at the most painful moment when it was infinitely close to death, it never doubted Long Chen, otherwise it would kill Long Chen and everyone before dying. This makes Long Chen very satisfied, but in fact, Long Chen also left behind. After all, those medicinal pills are all given to it by Long Chen, and Long Chen can't give everyone's life to it. If it is strange, Long Chen has a way to kill it immediately. After passing the test, it is not in vain for Long Chen to spend so many precious medicinal pills for it. The most important thing is that Long Chen roughly estimated the strength gap between them based on the coercion of the Shuangmai Emperor. A line of human emperors can no longer threaten Long Chen. Of course, the line of human emperors in Long Chen's mouth refers to the real human emperors, not the kind of pampered and degraded human emperors. But for a double-veined emperor like Huang Shi, Long Chen felt that if he wanted to fight it fairly, and if he wanted to win it, the outcome was only 5 or 5. Huang Rhino is a solitary monster, and its strength is very powerful. If it is not strong, it would have long since become a blood-eater in the mouth of other monsters. In the face of the double-veined emperor, Long Chen has no certainty of winning. Thinking of the giant turtle of the nine-veined emperor level, Long Chen shook his head for a while. It seems that with his own strength, entering the great wilderness is still not enough. You have to speed up your strength. However, the breath of the 8-star battle body can fight against the coercion of the Shuangmai emperor, which makes Long Chen extremely excited, because when the 8-star battle body is activated, the imperial coercion is almost ineffective against him. Come on, even in the face of the strongest emperor, Long Chen will not be crushed to the point of being unable to move. Let's all come out and get used to its coercion by Huang Zai's side, so as not to get the dragon domain and be given a slap in the face. Let's get used to it in advance. Long Chen said. At this time, everyone got off the golden chariot. When they got off the chariot, they suddenly felt as if the sky was falling. If they were not prepared, they might even be crushed to the ground. Fortunately, their dragon souls were automatically activated, and the Wheel of Destiny appeared immediately to resist the terrifying imperial power for them. Good guy, it's obviously a lot weaker than before, and there is such a terrifying pressure. Guo Ran's face was horrified. You must know that Huang Zai's breath has weakened at this time. If it was just now, they would not be able to resist this terrifying coercion. Huang Shi had suffered a terrifying impact before. Even with the medicinal pills to protect his body, he still suffered damage. During the period of his healing, everyone used its imperial power to stimulate their own vision of destiny, so that the vision of destiny was the ability to withstand pressure become stronger. Long Chen returned to the golden chariot and continued to take the medicinal pill. Soon 2 days passed, and Huang Zai's body had recovered to its original state. The blood in the shock caused it to exude a golden mist. It was no longer what it looked like before. The majesty that a true double-veined emperor should have. Through these 2 days of adaptation, everyone has been able to effectively resist the coercion of Huang Shi, and everyone asked Huang Shi to deliberately suppress them with breath to stimulate the resistance of the destiny roulette. Later, even if Huang Shi used all the power of coercion, everyone would only feel breathing difficulties at most, and the body felt as if they were filled with lead, but they would not be unable to move. Huang Shi recovered as before, full of energy, pulled up the golden chariot, and moved forward at full speed, like a golden meteor, breaking through the void and galloping straight to Longyu. With such a powerful helper, Long Chen is also at ease. Although it was delayed for 2 days, at this time, Huang Shi had recovered his strength, and his speed was extremely fast. Dragon's breath. Huang Shi slowed down, and everyone saw that the bones of the mountains were the collapsed dragon nests, and the bones were the keels. Oh my god, so terrifying? Bai Shishir was taken aback when he saw those Wanlong nests. These Wanlong nests are huge and they are all wreckage. They are scattered between the heavens and the earth. From the traces, they were destroyed by violence. There is a huge Wanlong's nest, which is torn apart on the ground, as if it was blown up by a punch, while some Wanlong's nest is like a watermelon cut by a sharp blade, and the incision is smooth as a mirror. When Yu Zifeng saw the incision, all I couldn't help but shrink my pupils. It seems that there has been a shocking battle here. Long Chen did not expect that there was such a scene outside the dragon domain, and there were fragments of Wanlong's nest everywhere. Stop, the dragon world, don't rush in. Just as Huang Shi pulled the golden chariot and slowly entered the border of the dragon domain, an angry shout came, followed by countless terrifying breaths. Chapter 5236. As the roar sounded, the terrifying aura rose, and one figure emerged. Most of these powerhouses were heavenly saint-level powerhouses. When they saw the golden rhino pulling the golden chariot, they were all startled. Especially the breath of the golden rhino was extremely uncomfortable, and he didn't dare to go forward. Seeing someone shouting, Golden Rhino was about to stop, but was stopped by Long Chen. Don't pay attention to them, keep moving forward. If anyone dares to stop, hit them. Long Chen, is this okay? Bai Shishir couldn't help but ask, wouldn't this prevent the entire dragon clan from coming to the stage? You don't understand, the dragon family is arrogant. There is no such thing as the first ceremony and then the soldier. They always eat hard and not soft, and if they don't show enough strength, they will not pay attention to us at all. Long Chen shook his head. He knows too much about the dragon race. To gain their respect, he needs to show absolute strength. In their philosophy, only the strong are qualified to talk to the strong. Boom! As the golden rhino slowly moved forward, the chariot roared and the momentum was shocking. It was Guoran who knew about Long Chen and turned on all the runes on the chariot immediately. Although these formations could not be used for attack, it was no problem to scare people. When he saw the golden rhino ignoring the shouts of these dragon powerhouses, he rushed over, frightening the dragon powerhouses to retreat in a hurry. Although the golden rhinoceros did not deliberately erupt into imperial power, the vast coercion has already made these heavenly saints feel stiff all over. If the distance is too close, they will be crushed and unable to move. Who is your excellency? Why did you want to break into my dragon clan? At this time, there was a roar in the distance, and a half-step human emperor appeared. However, Long Chen still ignored it and let the golden rhino continue to bury his head forward. Every step of his huge body made the world tremble. The half-step human emperor stopped in front of the golden rhino, but the golden rhino kept moving forward. The terrifying coercion made the half-step human emperor feel suffocated and had to step back. He also saw the golden rhinoceros. The terror of the rhino, dare not stop it. Boom! As the golden rhinos moved forward, more and more powerful dragons were alerted, and countless dragon nests appeared in the void, surrounding the golden chariots. Stop your steps and explain your intention, otherwise don't blame us for being rude. At this moment, a cold shout came, and a burly dragon strongman appeared. This person was a powerful human emperor. However, even a strong human emperor still felt frightened when he saw the golden rhinoceros. He couldn't figure out how such a terrifying monster could become someone else's mount and pull a cart for others. Then the person in the car was another person. What level of presence? More and more powerful dragons appeared, and more Wanlong nests rose into the air. The Wanlong nests roared and seemed to have entered a state of battle. However, Long Chen still ignored this, and the golden rhino still pulled the golden chariot and moved forward slowly, almost hitting the Wanlong nest in front of it several times, scaring the Wanlong nest to keep retreating. In fact, they were trying to find out what Long Chen meant. Before Long Chen showed hostility, they did not dare to attack rashly. Boom! The chariot moved forward slowly, the sky and the earth roared, and it was hard against the endless dragon army, heading towards the hinterland of the dragon domain. The dragon region is so strong, so many 10,000 dragon nests, so many powerhouses? Guoran and the others looked at the densely packed 10,000 dragon nests in the sky, and the endless human emperor powerhouses. They couldn't help but feel astonished in their hearts. No wonder it is called the dragon domain. Here, they have seen countless legendary dragon races, and even some dragon blood warriors have felt the kind fluctuations in these dragon race powerhouses. This shows that the dragon souls they fused come from the same dragon race. It is estimated that there are tens of thousands of powerful human emperors, and there are countless more half-step human emperors. Good guy, the background of the dragon family is too terrifying. Bai Xiaola couldn't help but startled when he looked at the scene outside. Because he has 3 colored pupils, he can see more scenes that others can't see, and even those human emperors hidden in Wanlong's nest can't escape his eyes. If you don't stop and explain your intention, don't blame my dragon clan for being ruthless. Long Chen's actions seem to have completely angered the dragon clan, and I saw 360,000 dragon nests lined up, blocking the way. Obviously, the dragons are going to stop the golden rhino with violence. Although the golden rhinoceros is a double-veined emperor, there is only one human emperor among the dragon powerhouses, but they have Wanlong's nest, and even if they face the double-veined emperor, they still have the power to fight. What's more, there are so many human emperors and Wanlong's nest here. If the war starts, this golden rhino will not want to leave alive. However, if the big formation is really started, the loss of the dragon family is probably incalculable. This is why Why did the dragon powerhouses endure until now? The golden rhino finally stopped under the nervous gaze of the dragon powerhouse. At this time, the hanging hearts of all the dragon powerhouses let go a little. The golden chariot stopped, which meant that things were still turning around. Your Excellency, regardless of the obstruction, forced your way into my dragon domain. It is extremely rude. If you don't give a convincing reason, you will never leave. A middle-aged man with dragon horns and blood-colored scales all over his body, holding a dragon scale spear, pointed at the golden rhinoceros and said coldly, "This person is a strong man of the blood dragon clan. He is full of chi and blood. Although he is a human emperor, he also makes the golden rhino feel great pressure. He is also the only emperor among all the emperors who can the existence that brings pressure to it. Obviously, this person's strength is extremely terrifying. With him as the leader, the powerhouses in the field can see his strength and status." Long Chen did not rush to respond to him. I saw the figures of Bai Yingxian and Bai Yingxue. At this time, Bai Yingxian, Bai Yingxue and the others were standing behind a strong man of the White Dragon clan, looking at them in horror. When he saw the people of the White Dragon family, Long Chen was relieved. However, the White Dragon family did not stand in the first row. It seemed that the White Dragon family's status in the dragon domain was not too high. "Speak, otherwise, don't blame us for being rude." The dragon's strong man of the Blood Dragon clan shouted loudly, looking at the golden rhinoceros and the golden chariot. When did the arrogant dragon clan not fall to this point? Everyone else broke into your house, and they didn't even dare to do anything, and they shouted and screamed. The face of the dragon clan was simply disgraced by you. When Long Chen's voice came out, all the powerhouses in Longyu suddenly became angry, and they clenched their weapons tightly and were about to shoot. At this time, Bai Yingxian and Bai Yingxue and other white dragon powerhouses exclaimed, "Dragon dust!" Chapter 5238. Following Long Chen's order, the Dragon Blood Legion went straight to the Nether Dragon clan, and the powerhouses of the Nether Dragon clan were shocked and angry. Saint powerhouses are under pressure. But you are presumptuous in the Dragon Realm. Are you provoking the entire Dragon Realm? The leader of the Dark Dragon clan shouted angrily. Out of weapons. The Minglong clan and its henchmen have a total of millions of strong people. There are dozens of human emperors, thousands of half-step human emperors, and countless heavenly saints. It is precisely because of such a huge number that the entire Longyu is moved, and they dare not fight recklessly with them and temporarily tolerate them staying in the Longyu. Now there are more than 7,000 fighters in the Dragon Blood Legion, but they are just a group of immortal realm boys, and to kill them so bluntly, this is the greatest contempt for them. The only thing they were afraid of was not Long Chen, not the golden chariot, but the golden rhinoceros. But the golden rhinoceros had no intention of making a move at all, and they immediately showed murderous intent. Eerie Wei, do you know that when you came to Longyu, your Lingxiao Academy was already destroyed? Ha! Kill! Just when the strong man of the Minglong clan was laughing loudly, the Dragon Blood Warriors had already rushed into the millions of strong men. They roared in unison, and the sound shook the universe. That roar startled everyone. Immediately after Sword Chi surged, the Dragon Blood Warriors rushed into the camp of the strong members of the Dark Dragon clan in the most violent and direct way. "It's just a bunch of idiots, kill them all." Seeing that the leader of the Minglong clan had already started fighting, the golden rhinoceros remained motionless, and immediately waved his hand and gave an order. At such a close distance, even if the golden rhino did it, it would not be able to save the Dragon Blood Warriors, unless it also killed the Dragon Blood Warriors. Puff puff. Just when the powerhouses of the Dark Dragon clan thought they could suppress the Dragon Blood Legion in a crushing way, the Dragon Blood Warriors had long swords like rainbows, and countless heavenly saint-level powerhouses flew with flesh and blood, and even some heavenly saint-level powerhouses, even people with weapons were smashed in one blow. What? Seeing this scene, the powerhouses of the Dark Dragon clan were stunned. Those human emperors and half-step human emperors didn't even bother to kill this group of young people, but they didn't expect that the Dragon Blood Warriors were so fierce. Ruhu, those heavenly holy powerhouses, in front of them, are no different from lambs. At this time, those human sovereigns and half-step human sovereigns realized that they were mistaken. The strength of this group of dragon blood warriors had already exceeded their imagination. Go all out, the old man of the Hades clan let out a roar. He felt that something was wrong. The terrifying golden rhino showed no sign of making a move, and Long Chen stood in the void with his hands behind him, and he didn't intend to make a move, which made him feel very uneasy. Following the order of the leader of the Emperor of the Hades clan, all the emperors and half-step human emperor-level powerhouses, no longer caring about face, shot one after another. At this time, Bai Xue was a little anxious. Although she knew that the dragon blood warriors were terrifying, what they were facing at this moment was the rebel army of the dragon clan. Their strength made even the entire dragon realm fearful. Master Patriarch. Bai Xue looked at the patriarch of the White Dragon clan, who was also a powerful human emperor. At this time, he was also caught in a tangle. He looked at the strong man of the Red Dragon clan and said, "Shooting at this time is the best time to eliminate the traitors." But the strong man of the Red Dragon clan said with a cold face, "How proud my dragon clan is, I know when the traitor needs to join forces with outsiders." This Long Chen actually pretended to be in command of our dragon clan, he simply didn't know the heights of the heavens and the depths of the earth. That's not what Long Chen said at all. Bai Xue said anxiously. It's not what he said, but judging by his posture, you can tell that he has this idea. The emperor and strong man of the Red Dragon clan said coldly, "How can you judge someone else based on subjective judgment?" At this moment, even Bai Xue, who has a very good temper, couldn't help being angry. Long Chen didn't have this idea at all. She knew Long Chen too well. If they hadn't invited him with shamelessness, he wouldn't be bothered to come here. Now that he is here, facing the traitors of the Longyu, the patriarch of the Red Dragon clan has such an attitude, which is really chilling. Bai Xue still didn't give up. He looked at an old man with black scales next to the patriarch of the Red Dragon clan, Patriarch Haiyan. That is the patriarch of the Black Dragon clan, who is equally powerful, not much worse than the clan chief of the Red Dragon clan, and also has great authority in the Dragon clan. However, he also shook his head and said in the same indifferent tone, "The conflict between the Dragon clan only needs to be resolved by the Dragon clan themselves, and no outsiders are required to wipe their hands." And he bit the word outsider very hard. Obviously, he also had prejudices against Long Chen. Bai Xue was shaking with anger, and tears were rolling in her eyes. She couldn't figure out what these leaders were thinking. What? Are you dragons or tortoises? When Long Chen didn't come, you were shrinking your heads. When Long Chen came, you were still shrinking your heads. Are you used to shrinking? Bai Xue was completely angry. You, presumptuous. The faces of the Red Dragon clan, Black Dragon clan, and the leaders standing together all changed, and they sternly shouted, "You guys can do it if you want to be a turtle. My Bailong clan will not accompany you. Warriors of the Bailong clan, follow me." Bai Xue unsheathed her long sword and pointed it at the battlefield. Into a state of combat. Kill, following Bai Yingxuan's shout, all the disciples of the Bailong clan who had entered the Skyfire demon realm showed their weapons and roared loudly. "We are willing to live and die together with the Dragon Blood Legion." A white dragon roared loudly with veins popping up on his forehead. He is a super admirer of Long Chen. Seeing that the formation of the Dragon Blood Legion began to shrink and changed from attack to defense, he thought that the Dragon Blood Legion was in crisis, and the high-level Dragon clan made them extremely disappointed. They just wanted to rush to the battlefield, even if it is death, but also to die with the heroes. With a total death, the man shouted loudly, and the disciples of the Bailong clan echoed in unison. Their lives were saved by Long Chen. Their trust and admiration for Long Chen far surpassed their patriarch. They are willing to work together with Long Chen. Fight shoulder to shoulder. You. Bailong clan, what do you mean? The other Dragon clan leaders trembled with anger when they saw this scene, especially seeing the disdainful eyes of the Bailong clan disciples, which made them unacceptable. The patriarch of the White Dragon clan also sighed and said, Inxue is the future patriarch of the White Dragon clan. I'm already old and it's time for me to abdicate. Her will represents the will of the entire White Dragon clan. After the patriarch of the Bailong clan finished speaking, a silver staff appeared in his hand. Seeing this scene, tears finally flowed from Bai Yingshi's eyes. Faced with scolding by the leaders of the Red Dragon clan and Black Dragon clan, she was filled with grievance and anger, but her stubbornness prevented her from crying. But the Bailong clan showed their weapons, which meant that he supported him without hesitation. At that moment, she broke the defense. All of the White Dragon clan listened to the order and support the Dragon Blood Legion until the last person. Bai Yingxue raised her long sword high, and with one order, all the strong members of the White Dragon clan took action, and dozens of 10,000 dragon nests were born out of nowhere. However, at this moment Long Chen's voice came, "Yingxue, don't make a move, let those old guys who don't have long eyes see. With our strength, do we need to rule them as a group of shrinking turtles? Brothers, it's time to show the true strength of the Dragon Blood Legion." Long Chen turned to look at the battlefield. Long Chen stopped shouting, and the Dragon Blood warriors who had been besieged and had to shrink their formations suddenly erupted, and a crack appeared in the impenetrable formation. When that crack appeared, a human sovereign powerhouse rushed over without even thinking about it, but the moment he rushed over, a sword energy shot out from the crack. Puff! The Emperor's blood splattered, and the world was torn apart. Chapter 5239. When a sword is released, the world is shocked. This sword can destroy 10,000 ways, can cut the sky and cut the gods. The fierce sword intent, even the Emperor and Powerhouse, will feel the scalp numb and the back feel cold. With a sword across the void, the human sovereign was cut into 2 pieces in an instant. Puff puff, all the strong men in a line behind him, no matter what their cultivation level was, no matter what weapons they held, were all wiped out with a single sword. This sword is fierce, and invincible. Yu Zifeng shattered the Destiny Roulette and integrated it into his body. Unlike other sons of destiny, he is the master of the power of destiny, and his will is above destiny. Yu Zifeng slashed down with a sword, and he was the first to kill. The long sword flew, and the sword energy was like a rainbow. After the sword energy passed, those strong men fell down in pieces. Behind Yu Zifeng, Mu Qingyun held a long sword and followed Yu Zifeng's footsteps to kill. The shadow of the peak was gone. Yu Zifeng and Mu Qingjian's 2 sword cultivators rushed out, their sharp attacks knocked each other into disarray in an instant, and at this moment, Guo Ran, Xia Chen, Bai Xiaola, Bai Shishir, Gu Yang, Li Qi, Song Mingyuan and others, also killed out. Before, they almost didn't make a move because they wanted to create opportunities for the Dragon Blood warriors, let them fight against the human Emperor Powerhouse, and bear all the pressure. Only in this way can they gain more powerful experience. The Dragon Blood warriors have teamed up to defend against several waves of impact from this group of human Emperor Powerhouses, which fully proves their strength. Even in the face of the attack of a group of human Emperor Powerhouses, they are still able to attack and defend, swaying freely, no longer suppressed by the might of the Emperor. In fact, this is all due to the Golden Rhinoceros. It is the Emperor with 2 veins, and the Dragon Blood warriors are constantly suppressed and stimulated by its imperial power, which has produced great resistance. Now, even if they encounter groups of human Emperor Powerhouses, they no longer have the slightest fear, and they will not affect their combat effectiveness because of the coercion of the Emperor's way. The defense just now was just a test, and it was a test of the results. After the test, the real battle began. Puff! Behind Bai Shishir, the figure of a goddess appeared, holding a golden long sword, and slashed down with one sword. A magic weapon of a human Emperor Powerhouse was cut off by her sword, and half of her head was cut off at the same time. Yu Zifeng's strength seemed to arouse Bai Shishi's competitive heart. She danced with her long sword, and specially picked out those powerful human emperors. Killing and killing, Bai Shishir suddenly stared at the strong man of the underworld dragon clan. She stepped on the void, her clothes fluttering like a golden cloud, and rushed over. The human emperor powerhouse of the Nether Dragon clan was startled and angry at this moment. He never thought that the Dragon Blood Legion would be so strong that it was simply a group of monster legions. Seeing Bai Shirshir approaching, murderous intent surged in his eyes, and with a big move, a black dragon gun appeared in his hand. He stopped drinking, and the dragon's aura surged behind him, and the dragon gun glowed, aiming at Bai Shirshir came to kill. Facing Bai Shirshir, he was not careless at all, but shot with all his strength. He knew that as long as he caught Bai Shirshir, he could blackmail Long Chen, because he already felt that things were not good. The power of gold, crazy moon slash. Facing the strong man of the Minglong family, Bai Shirshir stopped drinking, the statue of the goddess behind her glowed, the long sword fell, and a 10,000-li crescent moon shot out with endless golden brilliance. Boom! The sword, which gathered all the power of Bai Shirshir, slashed on the dragon gun, and there was a loud bang. The golden brilliance illuminated the universe, and the entire dragon domain was dyed golden. Puff! The emperor of the underworld dragon clan spat out a mouthful of blood and flew backwards. What? When the Red Dragon clan, Black Dragon clan and other human emperor powerhouses saw this scene, their pupils suddenly shrank, and their faces were full of horror. Because just some time ago, the Minglong clan provoked troubles and caused chaos in the dragon domain. They once tentatively fought against the emperor and powerhouse of the Minglong clan. Although it was just a test and didn't make a full shot, they also knew that this guy was very strong. Even if he was not as good as them, he would only lose half a chip. It is precisely because the opponent cannot be defeated in a few moves, and the opponent has a large number of people, that Long Yu will be cautious and not directly attack. Now, they couldn't help being horrified when they saw the strong man of the Minglong clan vomiting blood from Bai Shishi's sword strike, because they all knew how strong this guy was. Only then did they understand how terrifying the strength of the Dragon Blood Legion was. At the same time, they also finally understood why the golden rhinoceros remained motionless, because there was no need for it to make a move. The dark dragon is bloodthirsty, and all laws are unified. The human sovereign powerhouse of the Nether Dragon clan roared, the human sovereign's dragon veins were circulating behind him, and the violent power of heaven rushed towards him. Boom, however, his tactic has not yet been fully formed. Bai Shirshir slashed horizontally with his sword and split the void. He had to give up the original tactic and change the tactic. He was thrown away by a sword. Return everything to one, to your sister. Bai Shirshir sneered, moved her lotus steps lightly like a golden lightning bolt, caught up with the emperor of the underworld dragon clan, and cut him off with a single sword without giving him a chance to breathe. Boom! The powerful man of the underworld dragon clan rushed to attack, but Bai Shirshir had fully charged, and immediately suffered a big loss under one blow. Blood spurted wildly, and even vomited out his internal organs. Chi chi chi! Bai Shirshir brandished his long sword and stabbed 18 times in a row. His moves were ruthless, and his sword was fast. He even pointed at the vital points of the strong man of the Minglong clan, forcing him to back up again and again, without even the slightest strength to fight back. Seeing this scene, all the strong dragon clan were shocked. They were not only shocked by Bai Shishi's powerful strength, but also by her speed of attack and response method. Once they caught the flaw, they would not give the opponent a chance to breathe. Long Chen saw that Bai Shirshir forced the emperor of the Minglong clan back again and again, and he couldn't help nodding secretly. After experiencing the last crisis, Bai Shirshir began to transform. She is no longer a pampered genius, the breath of death, turning her into a real brave. She gradually has the style of Dragon Blood warriors. If she could have the combat experience and combat response of the Dragon Blood warriors, with her strength, this king of the underworld dragon clan would definitely not be able to survive 3 moves in her hands. Long Chen, you don't want to know what happened to Lingxiao Academy? Do you know that Brahma Pill Valley has brought a large number of experts and is heading towards Lingxiao Academy? At this time, Lingxiao Academy may no longer exist. It exists. The strong man of the Minglong clan shouted. Idiots, the coalition army led by Brahma Pill Valley has already been wiped out. You idiots don't even know it yet. Bai Shirshir sneered. What? Bai Shishi's answer made all the powerhouses of the Minglong clan feel like they were struck by lightning. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.